Really?
Welcome everyone to the South Russell Village Council meeting. Today is Monday, August 17th, 2026. Would you all please rise, put your hand over your heart and join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Before we get to roll.
Renzel. Here. Bell.
Here.
Berger.
Here.
Hampton.
Here.
Kavanaugh. Here. Porter.
Here. At this time, I'm going to turn the floor over to Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Thank you. We lost this past week a longtime resident, Mrs. Linda Mattern, who was just a wonderful person. I got to know her first through my 8th grade history teacher, Tom Mattern, who probably taught a number of us or worked with people here in the room. Great family, just regular school people. Tom died 5 years ago. He was the founder, after he retired, of our Chagrin Alumni Association, which has taken off by leaps and bounds. Linda, she was a friend. I knew them through Methodist Church and just all the things we did. In 1998, I attempted to document Rarick Cemetery, just not even a half mile down the road on the left, 1830s. And I was not successful. Linda was friends with a gal named, it's going to escape me, Jeanette Grosvenor, who had published books on cemeteries in Geauga County. They hit it off, they worked together, and she got every name that we know of. And it is posted on the kiosk board down there at the cemetery. And I appreciate that. It's wonderful, and it's honoring to those that they were the cement of our early village. Well, of Russell Township, I should say, becoming. And we miss Linda. She became acutely ill just recently, and did what all humble people do. She quietly moved on to her reward. So we think of her tonight. Amen.
Thank you. We have minutes of the July 20th council meeting. Any changes or corrections in the minutes?
Move to approve, Mayor.
Moved by Porter, seconded by
Second.
Kavanaugh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes have passed. Okay, in a couple minutes, council will pass a motion approving the mayor's appointment of Matthew as a police officer. This is a big deal for us. I hope it's a big deal for you. He has just basically one job: to do what's best for our residents. You all need to know we're going to do everything we can to train him. He's going to walk into a team atmosphere. We're going to take good care of him. If he wants to stay with us for his entire career, that's one of the things we try to do, is set up an atmosphere where they're happy here and they like to stay here. If he wants to move on, Chief's going to help him. If he wants to move on, FBI, whatever. There's going to be a lot of training, a lot of opportunities for him. But as to why we picked Matthew, Chief, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Just to be clear, council had already made the appointment on August 1st, so there is no need for that motion. We are just doing the ceremonial swearing in ceremony. So with that being said, Matthew graduated from the academy earlier this year, and we hired him as of August 1st. So Matthew is brand new to the department, and so far so good. We think we made a good choice. So safety committee or HR, anybody have anything to say?
Well, as chairman of safety, I would like to welcome you all. And I would like to commend our newest officer, who is a proud graduate of Berkshire High School, where I taught for 27 years. So nice seeing him, and so happy to see you all.
All right, Matthew, come
That being
forward.
said, I would ask Matthew to step forward and have the mayor swear him in.
You understand? Okay. Let's put one side, one on the other. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Matthew Politzer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and will faithfully,
and will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Patrol Officer
of Patrol Officer
in the Village of South Russell
in the Village of South Russell
in Geauga County, Ohio.
in Geauga County, Ohio.
Congratulations. Pictures? Yeah, any and all pictures, you just stay up here and we'll just do a bunch of pictures.
A quick one with you that will get your family up here real quick.
Someone taking care of them, taking them? Okay. Okay.
All right. Family, come on up. Yeah.
Turn a little bit. I think this careful is.
Okay, got ya. Anybody else in the family wanna come up? You guys wanna come up? Come on.
Yeah, someone's got to.
Come on, in, Jody.
Ask him before you arrest me.
You guys gotta get one too.
Okay.
Cuffer.
Go in. Keep a picture of us.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right.
What's up, Maria?
Congratulations.
Get out of there. Just so these guys can make it up. Okay, thank you. All right, I didn't know you.
Thank you all for coming. You're welcome to stay.
Just want to see you in a row.
Okay.
I didn't know this was.
All right, at this point, I turn the floor over to Councilman Bell for our next visitors.
Thank you. We've invited representatives from the Sugar Valley Fire Department, just kind of do a just relationship building and keep on the same page every 6 months or so with each other. So in a few years' time, when things come together, we need to talk contract again. We're already all on the same page. We can cruise through things. I thought it was important to have everybody in the room so everyone hears the same message. Everyone can ask questions at the same time. There's no mystification on answers, no telephone game. With that being said, Councilman Berger was kind of put together a little agenda for this section, which I have shared with the fire department so they could be prepared with us. I guess first and foremost, gentlemen, we could just talk about the calls in the last 6 months, what's it looked like in South Russell and how it's compared to last year.
Some handouts for you. Answer that question up. You take one, pass it on.
Tell them who you are, Frank.
I will.
There might be somebody out in YouTube land who's not quite familiar.
My name is Frank Zugan. I'm the Sugar Valley Fire Chief, your Fire Chief. All right, so good evening, and I want to thank Councilman Bell for reaching out and getting us together. We love doing this. We love talking about the fire department. We're very proud of it. I will be addressing our agenda, pretty much mirrored yours. So the agenda items I'll be addressing tonight are going to be call volume, which you have, which I'll talk about in a minute. Staffing, expectations and changes regarding your 3-year contract. And the rest, Department Treasurer and Assistant Chief Vetter, it'll handle the financial stuff that you guys want to talk about. So as you know, we reached out to all the communities back in June of 2025. We had 2 meetings with quite a few of you in attendance, outlining our challenges moving forward, and what we felt needed to be done for us to continue to provide efficient, cost-effective service to South Russell and the 5 other communities we serve. We're very grateful that all the communities recognize the challenges that we are facing and support us in moving forward. It's only been 7 months, but the plan you and the other communities approved has been implemented and is working. All the expectations from the last fall for your 3-year contract are still the same, and will take a full 3 years to realize all the changes. As we discussed in those meetings, we have implemented a wage adjustment for our employees to start bringing them up to the compensation level they do deserve. Regarding staffing, we have hired 5 more part-time firefighters and increased our total roster to 70. I think I'm the largest employer other than the school system. A little fact there. Our current manning consists of 5 firefighters on duty 24 hours a day. We also have myself and the fire marshal on duty during the day. That adds to the staffing. All that cost is covered by the Village of Sugar Falls. So you have 7 people hanging around all day, 8 to 4. What you have in front of you, the first sheet is calls from 2025, second sheet is 2026. We ran the calls from January to July 31st. So I highlighted everything for you. You're right in the middle. 2025, your call volume was 280 at this time. And it's 21%. If you flip it over, what's interesting, it's the same percent, but the calls are higher. Why is that? It's because we had 2 major storms go through the area. I don't remember. In 2025, January to July 31st, your total EMS calls were 206, fire calls were 74. And in 2026, your total EMS calls were 231. Your fire calls for that time period were 104. Again, what you're looking for is the percent of the total is staying the same. How we use to utilize the contract. So far, it's 15 increase for us overall call volume for the year. We have 1,525 calls since July 31st. Every year, going up. So that's a really quick, brief stuff on my end. And any questions for me regarding what I just talked about?
This increase is due to the aging population, you said?
What did I say?
You said,
2 major storms that came through the area.
Right, but I mean, but the increase, there seems to be more calls. Are there more calls, so the ambulance service?
Yeah, it goes up annually, 45%. That's been going on for the last 5 to 6 years. It does have to do with the aging population. I think what we found out too is about 5 years ago, I think it started, a lot of people are not hiring home health care anymore. They call us, not just in South Russell, across the board. So.
What about the nursing homes or long-term care facilities? How do they contribute to these numbers?
I think I have that here. Yeah, your two big ones are 5277 Chillicothe, the Lantern, right next door here, and 55 on East Washington. Out of your total in 2025, 47 EMS and 11 fire to the Lantern, and 29 and 2 fire to East Washington. 2026 so far, a little lower, 43 EMS, 9 fire, and East Washington Street, 29 EMS and 1 fire call.
assume East Washington's the Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah.
Of the 70 firefighters on staff now, how many are part-time and how many are full-time?
We have 6 full-time corporate employees and the rest are part-time.
It's a lot of part-time.
They like working for us.
It's great.
So they're scheduled though, Frank, if you can do it, they're not just PRN.
Yeah, so we staff 5 people per shift. 2 of those are full-timers, augmented with 3 for part-time. Just runs like that 24/7, 7 days a week, 365.
Chief, could you comment on any capital expenditures you're gonna be making in a while? Oh.
He'll be up next. He'll ask you all your financial questions. That's what I just went over.
Do you see any changes in staffing in the next 3 years as far as full-time employees or primarily part-timers?
Good question. Yes, we do. We're probably gonna start moving that way, not this contract cycle, but down the road. We'll talk to you about this. We'd like to come out at least once a year and talk to everybody. I think what we're gonna do next January, we have all the communities at the fire station. We're gonna kind of go over everything. So yeah, I do see that coming down. And the big reason for us is our part-timers do not live in this area. Why is that? can't afford a house. 25-year-old kid cannot not afford a house in this area. That's been a huge problem for us. But we've been very lucky. We're still hiring people. We're still working. So very happy with that.
Historically, a lot of those part-timers work full-time in other agencies too, if I recall.
Yeah, I think out of the 70, we have just a little over 40 people that are full-time firefighters elsewhere.
Significant.
Very significant, and that helps us out. They bring that training to us. We take our training to where they work. So
All right, you guys want to move on to the financial stuff? Is that where we want to go?
sure, got a question real quick?
Yeah, Chief, last week, the county had a meeting on hoarding. Chardon Fire Department was there talking about 25 years ago, you could get out of a house, you had 12 to 15 minutes. They say now it is down to about 2 to 5 minutes.
That's
Is that
what
just-
everything's made of. Plastic, poly stuff, it just burns so fast, so quick, heats up so high. A short period of time. Used to be all cotton back then. Building materials a lot different. So something we have to face. I mean, you even have an issue driving too quick and that exploding on you, the flash over and that type of stuff. So yes, a lot different. Everything's different. Some good, some bad.
Okay, before accounting, do you track calls that you have to give over to mutual aid because you're busy with other stuff?
Sure.
Okay,
We track mutual aid coming in and mutual aid we give.
okay, so any thoughts about what percentage of calls you end up not answering because of you're already busy?
That we don't answer?
Yeah,
I don't have that off the top of my head, but I can get it for you.
okay, I'm curious what
It's a really small percentage.
Yeah.
I would assume,
Very
but
small.
that's why I'm asking the question.
Our system is set up to be able to handle 2 calls deep pretty much all the time and still have people on station to be able to handle something else coming in as a first responder. So it's unusual that we're calling mutual aid for normal calls. For a structure fire, we're always calling mutual aid every single time. So that's different. They're augmenting our crews, not replacing them. And most of the time, the great majority of the time, even if we don't have an ambulance available, we have 2 of them that are already out at hospitals. We'll send a first response unit that's going to get there before the mutual aid to take care of the patient, and they'll transport.
Okay,
And then one nice thing about, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'd like to tout it a little bit. We're the only community that has a first responder program. You have 8 paramedics that live in this town with radios, medical equipment that respond directly from home in their personal vehicles to the call. Chief, you can attest that it's working well. So that's a nice little thing that you guys do receive, which I'm very proud of.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air when you're going to a full arrest or something and the fireman is coming out of his personal car, walking, getting up the driveway with you at the same time the squad even gets there. So it's been a good program.
how long has that program been in effect?
6 years.
6 years? Thank you.
And are those numbers in these totals, Chief, that you give us
No.
when those folks show it?
That'll definitely show in your response times. No doubt about that. Getting there pretty quick. And again, any of that stuff I can get you if you need it.
So those total calls are included in those numbers. It's just that they're not broken out separately.
What could we do to help you?
Support us. Trust us. We know what we're doing. We've been doing it a long time. We do it well. You're up, Treasurer. Hey. Don't want you. Money man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so these are the 3 financial reports that you asked about, and the list on the agenda. So, I guess they're not in the order they are on our agenda here, but the balance sheet is on the top there. And so this is reflecting the first 6 months from January 1st through June 30th. And shows our assets and what liabilities we have, and total liabilities and capital on the bottom down there. Give you a minute to process those and see if you have questions.
Are all accounts receivable current?
No, the number reflected here are current accounts receivable. There are some long past due ambulance billings that frequently get written off after 6 or 8 months, and those are not reflected on this.
Okay, but the communities participating in the program, they're all paid current?
Yes,
Okay,
the contracts, yes.
the contracts, yeah.
Yep. So the accounts receivable shown on this balance sheet for contracts at 87,000, that's just what was hanging from invoiced in June and not yet paid until July 1st.
Okay.
So Mark, I don't know what the lease on the liabilities, the Horton ambulance and the Pierce pumper, what are those?
Yeah, so we don't buy outright our fire apparatus or EMS units any longer. We lease them and with the dollar buyout at the end, so we'll own them at the end of that. And the ambulances are on an 8-year lease and the fire trucks are on a 10-year lease. So we make a down payment up front and then make quarterly payments on those. So that's representing the what's remaining on those in terms of liabilities.
Okay. So that just gets paid down.
Correct.
Okay, so is it a lease or is it more like a mortgage?
Yeah, more like a mortgage, but they refer
Because
they refer to it as a lease, but
it's a lease to own,
yes, yep.
okay? And there's no buyout at the end of the lease?
The $1 buyout's built in.
No,
Yeah,
okay,
yep.
well,
But that must be more financially manageable.
Yeah, because it allows us to make quarterly payments on it instead of trying to collect $1 million to buy a fire truck up front.
So Chief, is the department gonna own the Pierce pumper soon?
So we have it, we're operating with it, we'll own it after 10 years.
in 2035.
Yes, so, yeah, you have to order them 2 years in advance now. This is a 2025 is the manufacturer date. We took delivery last year, so that sounds
Okay,
correct.
2036.
So the 849,000, is that the payments made to date?
No.
Is that-
No, that's the remaining balance of the,
Okay.
if you want to call it a loan or the lease. That includes finance charges and things in it as well.
Sure. Are you a full year into that pumper lease or no?
No, not yet.
December. December, oh, the end of the year. Same with the ambulance?
It's a year and a half.
Okay, so that's a
Yeah,
little deeper.
pretty-
That's a 6-year.
It's an 8-year lease, yep.
You're locking your pricing that way too. Lord knows it's gonna be a decade, so.
In 2 years, I believe, you'll be coming back to us, with a new contract. What are you doing in-house to control the costs for the next contract?
So, as you know, when we approached you, we were at a projected loss of about $600,000. That if we didn't modify our budget, we were gonna be that much in the hole. Of course, we modified the budget. So there were things that we cut. And purchases that we didn't make that allowed us to not only save that amount of money, but also you increased contracts that allowed us to project in for that next year that we had more operating capital. I think the most important thing is that the ambulance billing that we've taken now, and we started a 3-year process to make that a long-term sustainable budget for us for capital expenditures, and to segregate that money out and have there be a source of funding for it that was always built into the $1 amount you had to pull out capital and operating out of it is the ambulance billing. So now we're taking the full amount of the ambulance billing, putting that into a capital equipment fund. That's what we're paying these leases with. And we're saving for the next down payment and the next purchases that we're going to make, which are not just vehicles, but it's air packs that we utilize for firefighting, and it's cardiac monitors that we use for EMS patients. All those things cost large sums of money, And either we'll lease them or we'll have enough fund in that capital fund to be able to purchase them outright if it makes more sense and save the interest.
Now, when you came to us last year, you wanted to increase the pay of your people, which you did.
Yeah, not only did we want to, but you directed us to do that to make sure we were going to be competitive and maintain recruitment and retention.
Okay, so in 2 years, when you come back to us, what do you think? I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what will be your need in 2 years?
For contracts?
Yeah.
Well, you're right. I don't have a crystal ball either. And we thought we had a very good plan that we utilized for years and years and years. And then suddenly the way that fire trucks and ambulances were being built and the way that they were priced changed dramatically, which threw a monkey wrench into our plan. That's when we came to you with, here's what's going on and here's where we are. I don't see anything now that's indicating to me that we're going to see those kind of increases in the future. There's tons of there's congressional investigations going on about those. There's state attorney generals that are suing the manufacturers and the Rev Group and some of the other small groups that are these equity funds that are running these companies. So I think I'm projecting that that's kind of put a cap on that for now. And so I anticipate we're going to come back to you with normal cost of living adjustments like we've done in the past.
Could you tell us a little bit about this Fidelity Capital Equipment Fund?
Yeah, so that's basically our savings account for capital. And right now, we're in the process, because you guys approved it and it's what we asked for, is could we take the ambulance billing money and use it to fund that account, that Fidelity account. So we have an investment account that we put those funds into. I think it's only prudent that we invest that money and try and get some return on it. It's in very conservative investments, but and so that's where those funds are going. Right now, we've only been funding that for 3 months, right? So it's through June 30th. The first 3 months of the year, we didn't have to do this, but I looked at it as that stuff was billed in 25. That money should go to credit against South Russell and our other communities. That it wasn't really fair for us to take that money and put it into the capital equipment fund. We're supposed to get a third of it, but for the first 3 months, we didn't do that. We instead credited that back to you. The second 3 months is where we started investing the ambulance billing funds into that. And next year, that'll be 2/3 of it, and the following year, 100% of it. So that's where our capital equipment funding is going to come from going forward, is from that.
The interest you earn, is that a fixed or is it variable?
It's variable.
And do you know what it is now?
It's being paid as dividends. It's not really interest, and it varies. It's a mutual fund. So.
Okay.
Is that, so in the income statement, there's a comment about BlackRock, transfer from investment of
Yes.
$48,000. Is that Fidelity?
No, that was a previous investment that we had in BlackRock, and it's closed out now.
And you closed it out?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's a one-time pickup.
So if you want to flip to the next sheet, which is the income statement, you notice that's a negative number that's on there. Remember, these are a one-time snapshot for the people that don't look at financial statements. This is like where we are on this particular date. If we put this out on January 3rd, it would have been a positive number because the contract funds were coming in from the communities for that month. But the date that you asked for was January or June 30th. So we're at a negative number on here, but you see what our expenses are and you see where our funds come from. And then the following sheet is a cash flow, which basically shows the same information, but kind of breaks it out in a much more simple to look at format. So where do our funds come from? What do they go to? And as with most businesses, especially a service provider like we are, we don't sell product, we provide services. Most of our money is going into paying wages and salaries and benefits.
How much is going into training?
Specifically dollars going into training, if you go back to the income statement, training tuition and fees there. There's about $4,000 showing in that for training tuition and fees. A lot of the stuff that we're doing there, part of our recruitment is that over a period of time, one of the challenges of part-time departments is getting people to stay working for you. So one of the ways we found to attract people and keep them is that we pay part of their paramedic tuition, not all of it, but a portion of it. So they pay for their fire school, they pay for their EMT training, but paramedic school is fairly expensive, so we offer to pay for that. And in exchange, they get reimbursements every year for a period of 4 years. So you have to work for us, you have to work your shift that you're required to work, number of shifts you're required to work in order to get those reimbursements from us. So some of that money is training, in that particular category is that reimbursement.
Fuel seems to be a very small percentage of your budget. Fuel costs.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, fuel costs have gone up.
for everybody. Yeah.
I mean, 30%, okay? But it's a small percentage based on what we look at here.
Yeah.
So it's not really a significant issue to you?
It's only 6 months.
Well, yeah, but it's only $11,000 out of a,
We're spending 20 to 25 average. It'll probably be more this year, a little bit more, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's fuel costs went up,
Okay.
diesel fuel went up crazy, and yeah, absolutely, it's something we're watching.
my notes, I had fuel down because I thought that would be a significant number. It's not. About 75% of your costs are wages.
People, yep,
It's people,
yep.
okay?
So
So,
putting 5 people in the station 24 hours
Okay,
a day,
so-
7 days a week is expensive.
so if we control people costs, I mean, the rest of it is sort of, I'm not gonna say it's insignificant, but it's not critical to the operation. Is that fair?
Yeah, and people costs, again, in the service industry is always gonna be I think that's a fair statement, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, when we get together again in 6 months, we'll concentrate on people, because that's where the dollars are, frankly. Sure.
Yep, and we found, and we're only paying for people that are there, right? So they're part-timers, we're not paying benefits for part-timers. But in order to fill those positions 24/7 takes 65 to 70 people. That's in order to get the number of shifts on them that you need in order to fill it. If you watch the papers this week, I'm sure you'll see some stuff on other local departments and some challenges they're having with staffing, and we're doing it. We're doing it with by adding to the total number of people in order to get the shifts covered.
You mentioned local. Again, last week, we had a couple of meetings in Chardon. You mentioned that small township fire department costs $2.6 million just to maintain. Was that an accurate?
Well, I think so, yeah.
Just
I'm trying to rub anybody's nose in anything, but as I said when I was out here earlier, even with the increases that you're seeing over this 3-year period, and there's significant increases, I don't dismiss that at all. South Russell will be paying less than every surrounding community for fire and EMS services.
so some of these people in these smaller half their money is going to fire and streets. Fire department and their streets.
Wouldn't surprise me, yeah. And depending on whether or not they run their own police department, but if they're running the sheriff's office, they're contracted with them, I'm guessing. It takes a lot of equipment, takes a lot of personnel in order to run a fire department. And what you're doing, you're to be applauded for is joining together with other communities and sharing those costs amongst the other communities and benefiting from that sharing of costs.
I have a separate question. That's just because I'm old. And I used to date a fireman 50-some years ago. They did training.
Wasn't either of us, right? Okay, yep.
He's way too young. I don't think little Frankie Zugan was even born yet. But they would train on Thursday nights, and it was a big deal, and you got trucks out, and if you could, burn something down. Tell me how you do that now, because I'm sure it's totally different.
So you asked about Thursday night drills or about burning acquired structures?
I mean, yeah, or an old house down on River Road.
Yeah, so acquired structures are really difficult to do. We love to get the opportunity to do them because we can train in concrete block buildings with fire retardant stuff inside them, and we do that. But it's not the same as being in a structure that's on fire. And so when we get the opportunity to do that, we do. There's challenges with it. You know, you're obviously not doing one in the historic district in anywhere because it's too close to other houses. So it's got to kind of be by itself. In order to, from a safety standpoint, I always joke about if the house, you know, people are wanting to tear that house down typically and put something else there. From an OSHA standpoint, we have to actually retrofit the house with safety features. You kind of have to fix it up well enough that you could rent it out in order to be able to burn it down. You also can't have.
Which you didn't have to do 50 years
Right, we didn't have to do. And you can't have any asbestos in it. So they come out and do an asbestos inspection. They take pieces of vinyl floor, they take roof, they take inside walls, about insulation on pipes, all that stuff. That has to all be abated first, so there's a lot of expense involved in doing that. So because of that, a lot of people aren't donating houses. So that, I don't know if that answers your question, but we don't get as many opportunities as we used to with that.
Do you still do the Thursday night thing?
Unfortunately, this past year, we did away with the Thursday night drill. So all of our drills were being done on shift with the on-duty personnel. And it broke my heart because I've been going to Thursday night drills since I was in high school. And that was where I planned on spending my Thursday evenings. But
We have one at the end of the month.
yeah.
Terry Allen kept those memorable.
Wow, yeah, Terry Allen. Yep.
It's a flashback.
It's not a question, but a comment. That really disturbs me that the young people who want to serve, they can't afford to live here. That's awful.
And it's been a problem for a long time. You know, it's just the nature of our affluent communities is that it's difficult for any young couple, but especially, you know, single young guys and gals who would like to remain in the community. They find places to rent sometimes, but more often than not, they can't afford to live here.
I feel like that's a statistic that the people that are being served should know. That's just really disturbing.
It's one of the main reasons we went to full-time employees.
That went to full-time, yeah. I believe it.
And we were discussing before the meeting, you know, if you have part-timers and they just don't sign, like nobody signs up for a shift, there's not a way we can force somebody to work. But we have full-time employees, we can't. There's somebody that's on duty, we're gonna mandate them to stay over. We do it when we need to. It's very rare, but we need to do it. We mandate that employee is gonna stay and continue working. So having full-timers helps us with that.
Well, thanks, guys.
CapEx, cap expenditures, additional planned expenditures in the next 2 years?
Are we have squads scheduled?
We're gonna order 2 years from now, and that'll be 2 years and 3 more. It takes so long to get them. Engine, we're gonna order in 7 years, so nothing huge. I mean, we're at.
And those were planned in that replacement schedule that we shared with you before.
Yeah, okay, all right. Any concerns with Sugar Valley Dispatch?
I don't have.
No, I just met again with them today. No, I don't have any concerns about it. I think us being involved with them and utilizing them gives us a ton of benefits that we didn't have when we had our own dispatch center.
I know that recently you met with the chief and with Sugar Valley Dispatch and talked about dispatching and whatever, and I want to say I appreciate you taking the time to help us investigate.
Yeah, I was actually with Jogga Dispatch, where the Jogga employees, yeah,
Right.
yep.
And to see what can be done.
Yep.
I know we didn't get anywhere, but I do appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, they had a lot of concerns about whether they could do the things that wouldn't be necessary to make it work, so.
Right.
That was an attempt to save you some money.
Yeah, and that's all we're looking for. So, again, appreciate your cooperation with that.
I think some good things came out of that meeting. There's some dialogue that hadn't been taking place before that I think was beneficial in that meeting, so. Good.
Okay.
Chief, you have a question?
Yeah, one question. We have the active 911 apps, and that's what allows us to get to these calls a lot quicker. Are we upgrading that anytime in the near future, or are we sticking with the
We're
program?
gonna come on to our first new system, no charge. Soon.
Okay.
What's it called?
So it's Active 911. What it is it's an app that we have, so we get notified on our devices as soon as a call gets initiated before it even comes over the radio. So we're already going, and it's been fantastic. We have been very fortunate to have this option. So we all get notified in the event there's a rescue call or a fire call.
So as the dispatcher enters the information in CVD, at a certain point, it pushes it out, and it's before they actually do the dispatching to the fire station phones and that kind of stuff. So it's like a pre-alert that goes out. And we're all changing from that system, Active 911, to a different system called First Due. And it'll do the same thing. So, has some other features to it.
That's been a great resource for us and very helpful.
And honestly, it's how we all get notified on our cell phones of calls, so.
Anything else? Thanks for coming out, guys.
Thank you
Really
so much
appreciate
for
it.
having us out.
It's just what we needed. Like seeing you, I don't like seeing your trucks in my neighborhood, but I like seeing outside your.
We'll have them always down here on Bell Road at the events, so.
Events are great.
You can always look at them there.
Don't like when it's tragic. Thanks for coming
See you all
out.
very much.
Good night.
Thank you.
Sure, yes.
There you go. Thanks.
Where they're located.
There's 4 different locations now. There'll be one from October. Okay, we are now at the mayor's report. Just basically, congratulations and thank you. You've been having a facelift. I look forward to next spring's trash day when residents will pull in, see the new salt structure, and hopefully will not see the old salt structure. I think people have wondered about the line of dirt going out toward the marquee. That's brought attention to the marquee that may need a facelift also. They can't see it, but inside, we've had 2 nice changes. The website's been updated and the whole basement's been updated. You can talk about that. Warwick Cemetery, we're getting ready to take on that monster. And the park has the bocce court, and eventually it's going to be hayed. So we've got a lot going on, and just a thank you for the people who put up with a lot of changes, and a lot of changes is tough. And just nice job, everybody. That's it for the mayor's report. Questions of the mayor? Hearing none. Fiscal officer, the floor is yours.
I distributed my report to mayor and council. I don't know if there are any questions. The other thing, just as a reminder, I forwarded you, NOACA is having their annual meeting on October 16th, and then the OML conference is in Columbus from September 30th to October 2nd. So if anybody wants to attend, if you can let us know so we can get you registered. We've scheduled the 2027 budget work session for September 28th at 6 p.m. And this won't be a 1-hour meeting. We're going to hash through the budget with some serious work. So the goal is to come out of that meeting with a pretty good idea where we're going, so we can wrap things up for next year. At your seats tonight was the ballot language for the levy, which they would like me to sign off that everybody's okay with that ballot language from the legislation. So if you could review that and we can get a motion that you agree with that language, everything's correct. The solicitor looks it over. Then I can sign that and send that on. And I was asked recently about the road diet. Because the road program came in less, we will be able to do the road diet. So I can just switch the line item. So you would be able to do that for the, I think you said it was 25,000, right?
Budgeting that, yeah, hopefully it's less.
Yeah, so you would have the money for that. And that's all I have. Oh, I do have a lot more, sorry. Building department officially moved over here on Thursday. They moved here, but if you notice, we still have to get everything there, and there's a lot of cleaning up yet to do, but physically they are here. Within the first couple of hours of being here, it worked just like we planned. Colleen was busy, her office was a mess, Christy's office was set up, so somebody came in for a permit, Christy handled it, the person walked out with their permit, and everything went as planned. So that's good. In talking to Colleen, she says she's 100% happier here. She feels safe here. When over there, she is by herself. So being here, knowing that we have people here. Then in the middle of this construction project is when the tragedy happened in North Royalton. So right after that, I called the chief and called Councilman Berger, and we put in more cameras and monitors in all the offices and detectors when people are approaching the building. We get alerted so we can look in the camera so we know when someone's downstairs with Colleen. So everybody feels safer with that. So it's working really well. Everybody's happy. And I did hear on Friday that Dave is happy with the basement. And it's better than he thought. So
I didn't hear that, Danielle.
Dave is happy with the basement.
Oh, good.
Lower level.
The lower level. I'm sorry, the lower level. We don't refer to it as the basement. It is the lower level. Yes, thank you. And that's all I have. Except for this, if you can, someone could do a motion for this ballot language.
For the what, Danielle?
For the ballot language, approving that.
You know,
Finance, you want to do it?
I do have a question. So this, it is an increase?
No, this is a renewal.
No.
Renewal.
No increase.
Should we include that verbiage on there, or we're not allowed to?
No, you're not allowed to, so, yeah, we
Says-
can have, renewal is a renewal, otherwise it would be like a renewal with a increase or a renewal with a decrease, but this is straight renewal.
Okay.
Ruth, we did this in 2017. There will be a letter to the editor saying, hey, this is, you know.
Okay.
All right, Chris, you want to do it?
Yeah, so I'd like to make a motion at this time to approve the language for the renewal levy for issue 10. Is that correct?
Yes.
Issue 10, yep, so moved.
Second,
Discussion?
just so everyone knows, this is for streets, roads, and bridges, resurfacing and repair, which is what we've used it for ever since it came on the books.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Questions of the fiscal officer?
We saw income tax revenue. Do you want to comment on that?
It is down again this month, and it is down, our net profit collections are down. So I'm keeping an eye on it, and we'll discuss it with CCA if it continues to get more information. But we're just watching it.
Is that unusual?
Yeah, I mean, there in the past, I have looked, just a couple years ago, it was down for 1 month, but this is 2 months in a row, so I'm just kind of watching it for now. But I know, in the past, we had talked about, people working from home, and that we thought that might change, but it's in the net profit, area, so we'll just watch it, and I'll get in contact with them if it continues.
Any other questions of the fiscal officer?
Yeah, a question for the building department. I noticed on the report, and I apologize, I can't find it in front of me, but it listed receipts as being cash, check, credit card, and none. And I was confused as to how you collect money under the category of none.
Well, they're still entering information back from the beginning of the year, so those are getting entered.
Okay, so that's all passed.
And
Okay.
if we didn't have the whole admin team doing that, it would never get done. So they have almost everything done. They're working on the zoning, so we're hoping the zoning module of that software will get up this week, and then some of the inspections and stuff gets pulled into that. So it's been a long process. They have a lot of it entered, but yeah, so they've been entering since January through now, so it's hard to get our financial statements accurate because you can't backdate anything. So when they put it in for today, I'll get so much cash and credit card, but then there's things that we got paid for in January. They're just getting entered now.
Great.
But in-house, Colleen and I have been able to go back and balance things throughout to make sure we have it all. She's doing a phenomenal job with creating reports on the system. Anytime we need something, I just ask her and she figures out a way to run the report. And today she said she was able to, in our fiduciary funds, which is money we're holding for construction deposits, and that it's not our money, it's money we're holding. And we have a lot of construction deposits that haven't been released. And for what reason, we don't know. So she was able to go in and run a report, and she called, emailed, or, she contacted all these people on this very long list and set up some inspections so she can close out some of the things. So her goal is to try to get this, we're trying to get it cleaned up. Because we have like a lot of money sitting in that fund that's really not our money. So we have to get those inspections closed out and then figure out why we have this, what are we waiting for? Is it an inspection? Did somebody walk away? So, and then are there going to be forfeiture hearings because they have so long to respond? So she worked on that today and got a lot done.
We talked about this maybe a year ago, and a lot of it was that homeowners didn't call and schedule that last inspection.
But with this new system, it's like there's everything's in there. So you can't skip to the next step until this is done. And so it's easier to run those reports because everything's being tracked. It's not just manually going, oh, did that finish? And you know what I mean? So it's going to work well, but now it's cleaning up what
It seemed like there was a deadline. They needed to call by X date, or then it did go away. Yeah.
But you have to notify them that they have so many days to respond. So we're going through that process now.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Well, thank you to you and your team. Great job getting this up and running. Really
And with the
appreciate it.
retirement in there too, so that's amazing.
Any other questions for the fiscal officer? I will be with you in spirit on September 28th, but I'm having surgery that day, so somebody can eat my sandwich. Finance Committee.
Yes, Finance Committee met on July 23rd. I would like to meet this Thursday at 9 a.m. on August 20th, pending availability. A reminder that the County Tax Board hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. That's August 18th at 9:45 a.m. And that is at the annex, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. We've reviewed quotes for pouring additional concrete for the service bay floors and for the road along the salt barn to see where our money's at. That's approximately $120,000 worth of concrete. That is not budgeted. And we will wait for Streets Committee to make a recommendation to council and then figure out how we find the money. One other major item that I should bring to council's attention, we did receive a quote for the village parking lot to be paved and striped, I believe, and that is in the $160,000 to $170,000 range. That is the quote that we got. Obviously, we will need to talk. And that, subject to other comments, that concludes the report.
Chris, for finance, you said Thursday at what time?
9 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
On Thursday, right?
Questions of the Finance Committee? Hearing none. Solicitor?
I have nothing to report.
Questions of the solicitor? Hearing none. Engineer?
Thank you. Last week, at the Public Utilities Committee meeting, one of the items or one of the agenda items that were discussed was the private property entry or private property access permissions that were needed to finish the survey work for the Hazelwood Storm Sewer Project. We got any outstanding lingering issues resolved with those. So we have all of the access agreements we need. I spoke this morning, spoke this morning with, it's a long day, with our design and survey teams, and they are raring to go. Tim forwarded me today the last of the signed access agreements. They wanted to have hard copies of those, just on the file. They now have them. I will let Public Utilities Committee know
and copying the chief in case an informational flyer needs to be sent out. When our survey crews will be boots on the ground out in the neighborhood finishing the survey for Hazelwood. So stay tuned. I will get you guys a date.
Approximate timeframe?
I think next week, but I did not get a date from our surveyors yet.
All right.
But I know they're ready to go on.
So that's just access to property, right, Eric?
Yeah, there was like 4 properties that we really kind of needed to get onto to determine how the old storm sewer functioned and how to design that into the new one. So we needed to get on some private property, and we have the permissions necessary to do that now.
It wasn't such messy work. It would be interesting because it's 90 years old, some of it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of everything up there. Also, we had a streets committee meeting right after the public utilities committee meeting, in which I hosted, he's one of the head guys from Specialized Construction, unsure of his title, Jeremy Klink. For our road program, we had our pre-construction meeting. I don't have a start date scheduled for them yet. The inks, I don't think the ink on the contracts have dried yet. We still don't have a notice to proceed issued, but we're furiously working on that. As soon as we have those contracts inked, I'll get a date to streets committee meeting as to when we can expect some work to start on our annual road program.
This will be done after school starts for Chagrin, I presume?
School starts Wednesday, so yes.
Yeah.
Is the completion of Waverly still going to stick with the 19th, September 19th date, but not the aprons on Bell?
I think we should extend that completion date by 2 weeks because we had to issue an addendum.
Sure.
And like I said, we still don't have a notice to proceed yet from the village. So I think we need to be a little flexible on it, but I am going to hold them. I mean, we got to get it done this paving season. So September for sure.
Just before it's cold and rainy.
Right.
Catch basins at the end of Waverly, are those additional catch basins necessary?
I don't know, but I can review that with our streets commissioner here in the coming days to see if there's anything more we need to do there. Or if it's a matter of just cleaning out what's there now.
Questions of our engineer?
Yeah, really quickly, at our streets meeting, for those of you on council, you may have noticed a lot of gas line flags along Bell Road on the western portion. At our meeting, we discussed that. No one in the village at the time was aware of what was going on with the gas lines. Eric sent a letter to the contact he had at First Energy. I was just curious if you
I
heard
haven't
anything
received
back.
anything back yet, but thank you for pinging me on that. I'll give them another call.
Yeah, just are they nervous if they're tearing up and putting gas lines and we know nothing about it, or?
Right, we at least need to see like a scope of work or some plans as to what they're gonna do. Like
So is it gonna be just like they added the other line out east, to my consternation?
Ruth, I don't know. No, that's what we desperately want to know.
We saw the flags, we asked Eric, and he said, I don't know. So he reached out and he hasn't got an answer.
Okay,
So no one has contacted the village.
wow. Bad business.
Well, it looks like it's significant.
It does look significant, and that's why it raised so many red flags or yellow flags as this may be.
I thought it might have something to do with the previously planned or proposed trail.
Nope.
Nothing at all.
No, those are something that Dominion/Enbridge delineated. If it was an oops, wouldn't mark. Ohio Utilities Protection Service comes out and marks things, but they're not quite so intensive, I guess.
Okay.
This looks to me like something they're gonna construct. So I will keep you all as up to the minute notified as I am.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions of our engineer? Street Commissioner, you're up.
This is my month-end report. A few things to add to that is this Thursday and Friday that we'll be attending a 10-hour OSHA class between the 2 days. They're 2 full days.
OSHA class?
Yes. That was through LTAP, so it's no cost to us. We just attend, which is great. Bocce court is waiting for it to dry up a little bit, as if that seems weird because it's been so dry. But now, of course, we're ready to the point to do the finished work and it starts raining. So as soon as that is dry enough to continue, we will wrap that up. The fence down on Chelsea Great is also something that we're going to replace here because it is starting to show rot and falling, and then there's some erosion that needs to be addressed with it as well in the ditch lines. A resident actually brought that up to us, so that was very nice of them to do as well. They're very happy with the thought. Rarick will probably start that the beginning of next week for cleaning the headstones. This past week has just been kind of busy with multiple things. We're going to start looking at doing some of the culverts on Maple Hill that have been requested and a few other places throughout the village that people have asked us to do. The backhoe is still down for repairs. We have rebuilt all this, or have rebuilt all the cylinders, hydraulically speaking, and Southeast Equipment had told us a while ago that the hydraulic pump on starting to fail, which potentially could be causing these cylinder failures. So we are waiting for that pump to be able to install that as well in-house. So that slows the culvert replacements down a little bit for us. Chagrin Falls contacted me. I talked to Chagrin Falls Service about 2 months ago about a drain on Bell Meadow that is slow burning, slow filling, slow emptying, just a problem area that a resident was concerned about. So I approached Chagrin and asked them if they could bring their jet truck and back truck up to take and look into that for us. They did reach out this evening and said potentially this week, if not the first part of next week. So we'll address that and get that done, which will make that homeowner very happy. That's all I have.
Questions of the street commissioner?
I have, is there a plan, and I think I already talked to you about this, to even begin some of the tree cleanup that we know is ours at the back of Rarick Cemetery?
So disposing of the trees and all the brush that are there will chip away with the chipper. And so I don't want to start piecemealing it. I would prefer to, when we get the chipper, to just get it done all in one go. That way we're not looking at getting a chipper for a few hours here and a few hours there. Instead, we just get it once and we're done. And also that would follow up with the survey crew doing their work to clearly define our lines.
Do we rent a chipper or do we
Yes.
borrow?
We rent.
Okay, so it's a daily. There was another one and I already lost that train of thought. Oh, on Bell Meadow, on East Bell Meadow, there's the great big swale that goes all the way through to 306.
Yes.
Someone has beneficently put a Christmas tree, it looks like a Christmas tree in there. That needs to go. We need to get that cleaned out.
Yeah, we are gonna get the ditch from 306 back, weed whipped, and then continue up just to take a walk through there to make sure we're clear all the way.
That's a once a year thing, right? To
Yeah.
make sure that that's clean?
Yes. So we'll go through from 306 on.
Questions of the street commissioner?
One more, the Chelsea Court fence,
Yes.
how much is that gonna run?
It's roughly $1,700 for the fence is what that quote was from Auburn Fence.
Okay. That seems like a stormwater kind of issue because it's great.
So it keeps people away from the grading. That shouldn't be near the grading. We're chasing, and it's a split rail fence in there, but on the back side of it also has a finer fencing on that to keep, toys and whatnot out as well.
Mayor, should we make a motion on this and take it out of the stormwater budget?
Good thinking. So
This is for Chelsea.
Yeah.
instead of taking it out of streets, we take it out of stormwater? How much work is that to you?
No, I mean, I'll take it out of wherever you want me to take it out. If you
Alright,
think-
Mark.
I don't know what it is, so if it comes out of
It's
stormwater.
what, $2,000 of split rail fence?
Around a essentially a catch
It's a
basin.
storm drain.
It's a storm drain. Remember the
Yep.
big project? Yeah, that, this was help protecting it. So I move that the mayor, fiscal officer, and the street commissioner be authorized to enter into an agreement with Defense Supply Company for the sum of $1,700, such money to come out of the stormwater line item of the budget. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Yeah, I'm abstaining. I'm abstaining.
What's up? It's gotta be close to your house, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You can watch them as they work.
Motion passes, one abstention. Any other questions of the street commission?
Do you want to address the plow truck?
Sure. So, at the streets meeting, we talked about the plow trucks and we realized that we were quoted 420 plus days for enough completion from the time we delivered the truck to when we received the truck. Meaning from the time we buy the truck, the outfitter gets it, they do their work, and then we get it back. Is 421 days. Not an uncommon number that we're starting to hear now. And going forward, they are forecasting that to be more to hear. At one point, a number of years ago, we were over that. We were at like 2.5 years waiting on the outfitting of the trucks because it's
Okay.
kind of thing. So instead of going that route, what we came to the conclusion of is to look and see what may be available in a timelier fashion. What is referred to often as a spec truck, meaning a truck that's already kind of built and it's very general and not specific to what any community would want exactly, but kind of does the job. So we did find one. It matches not only color, but equipment wise to what we currently have on the large truck side. That truck, the supplier is saying that they could potentially get it sooner, but they will say they will definitely have it to us by January 1.
Well, it's better than a year and a half,
Correct.
thereabouts.
So we would have it for the 26-7 winter.
At a quoted price today of,
Roughly 246.
okay, 244. Originally, we had another quote for a similar large truck that was going to be in the 300 range. So now we have a quote, and this is
Sourcewell.
Sourcewell.
So it is a national bid. Done.
It's an international harvester truck, same size as our 3 big plow trucks. It's an equivalent to that. And
It will mirror them.
so the quote is 246 as of today. We just got this afternoon. Okay, so as finance, and I also sit on streets, I'm not going to recommend that council move on this tonight, that we take a couple of days and go through this with a fine tooth comb and make sure that we're really comparing apples to apples. But I am also going to recommend that later in the week, probably Thursday or Friday, if we can get enough council members together, that we have a special council meeting specifically to vote to approve a purchase so that we get it done, we get it to the vendor, and we have a plow truck for the 26-27 plow season. Okay.
Our concern during streets was because the swap loader truck wouldn't be here for 421 days. We had 2 trucks running plows last year with a third as a backup. We don't have a third backup right now. The plan for large equipment moving down the road, a few years down the road, was to go to the large 5-ton anyway. So in our mind, we thought if we can quickly get a 5-ton in, check that box now, we can look into the swap loader again in a year and a half, 2 years when it was scheduled to get the 5-ton anyway. But we want to ensure that we can plow these roads this winter with a backup, just in case, if not all 3 trucks on the road. Go ahead.
4 trucks.
4 trucks, my apologies.
Yeah.
If we were to move forward with this truck, then we would have a 26 a 2020, a 2018, and a 2007.
Chris, we're having a finance meeting on Thursday at 9.
Yep,
If we add at least 2 more council folks,
we can do it then at the finance meeting if anybody's available at 9 o'clock, or we can move that earlier if that would be more convenient. I have no problem with that.
I can do Thursday morning. Jerry?
Jerry's already here, so we need,
I can do Friday morning, I can't do Thursday morning.
okay,
I might be able to.
okay.
I likely can. I just have to check one.
Do you want to do it at 8:30? Would that help you?
Earlier.
Yeah, earlier's fine. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
We will need 5 because it will require legislation and we'll
Yeah.
have to waive readings, so.
Yep. So 8:30, sorry.
On Thursday? Okay.
Thursday, 8:30. Thank you, and we'll do that.
special council meeting.
Special council meeting before the finance meeting. It should only take, I hope, 15 minutes.
Does anybody want an electronic forward of all the truck? That's fine.
Perhaps you send it to all concerned,
I absolutely can.
the fiscal officer, if you haven't gotten one yet.
I gave the fiscal officer and the solicitor have copies of the quote that we have today. That might change in the next couple of days, depending on what we determine we really want. I mean, we need to sort through that. I will do that with
Question
the
about
street commissioner.
this truck, Tim. We talked during streets that, we have a plow blade available that might be applicable to the other truck we're talking about. Will it work for this one, or is this coming with a new blade?
So this truck is coming fully, so when we receive the truck, we can put it directly to work.
Okay.
So it
And
comes
then,
with a
and then
blade.
we would still, because right now we have one extra plow blade fully outfitted that will fit our trucks, 2 of our trucks. With the adding this new third, if we move forward and add this third truck, that will also fit the new truck, which will give us one extra plow to back up every plow truck we have. So if we lose a line in the middle of the night, per se, they can swip to the other truck and worry about fixing that plow in the morning and continue moving. So that is the advantage of it. When it comes, it will be some of the perks, if I may speak to it. With this truck and the way this truck is coming, it'll have a V-body insert is the way it is spec'd, or it's quoted right now. That being said, we don't have to pick up the body. As you see the trucks go down the road, they have the body up in the air. That won't be necessary any longer, so we won't be into trees and power lines and cable lines any longer either. And then we don't have the wear on the truck hinges and hydraulic cylinders.
So here's a question. Is the bottom line, we're gonna have a minimum of 3 operable plow trucks is the goal?
If we move forward with this truck, we will have 4 large
4.
plows.
But it would be at least 3 guys out there, especially if we have another hellacious winter like we did last year with employees being.
So what last year we kind of did was we put 1 truck on the east, 1 truck on the west, and then as need be, the 3rd truck would stay on the main roads and keep those.
Well, it was need be pretty much all the time.
So we ran that during the peak hours is what we traditionally did last year.
So we're getting a comparable truck for at least $60,000 less. And let's see, a long time in advance of waiting for the other truck.
That's correct. But
So instead of 16 months or so, we're getting it in 4 months or so.
I want to point out for that other truck too, the 421-day lead time, they want us to pay that now,
Oh, really?
not upon delivery.
Not a deposit or
For
a whole
the chassis,
thing?
for the chassis.
or you can defer and they'll charge you 7 to 9% interest,
Per month?
annual interest. Annual interest. Even so, while you wait for them to deliver the vehicle.
So
I think we need a lot more discussion about how we're moving forward with that particular vendor, if we are. The quote that we have today for the big truck is not from the same vendor that is for the swap truck, the little one.
Okay, so Thursday at 8:30,
Yep.
5 members of council will be here. There'll be a recommendation from street committee with regard to the purchase of this potential truck. We have a quote in hand. We have the money available. Then council will be asked whether or not to approve it.
Right, and we'll have the legislation and it will be approved that this is Sourcewell and that it complies with minimum state bid?
Well, I was gonna ask, so I mean, Sourcewell, I think, is more like a co-op purchasing program, more than the state bid. I could be wrong on that,
It's a
but
little different.
it's a little bit different than, okay,
It's
but,
acceptable.
right, but so if you recall the other, so for instance, everything that's on here,
So if you, they're on the page of the Sourcewell page. of
Yes,
last
the very
page.
end, yep.
Down at the bottom.
yes,
It gives you the Sourcewell number for the truck and for the chassis and then the outfit as well, the 2 Sourcewell numbers, I believe they put on there.
do I have both? I might. I have, the HB 507. Actually, so I just wanna make sure.
So you have,
Top, I see.
you have the final value on both there, and then they should have the Sourcewell number for each.
Yep, I have,
Additional Sourcewell qualified content.
okay. And there's no like add-ons or anything like that
How this sheet provides all the upfit information detailed out. This sheet provides the full truck.
okay,
call out.
okay. And then, other than the proposal, will there actually be an agreement as well from International? Or is
Once
it
we get,
Ascendus?
once we give them a PO,
Okay,
then they are, but this is what the agreement will be, so as soon as you see that, actually on the last page of the, I thought it was the last page here, of the truck spec sheet, it has authorized by, and we'll sign that and take care of that kind of thing.
okay.
Are we good?
They're holding, so not for pressure, but just to let you know, they're holding the truck chassis that is there as a spec truck is for sale. So they said, knowing that we're interested in it, they're letting everybody know that. So, but that only goes so far, so.
That said, anybody who walks onto their lot for 246.
So they actually, they did tell me this morning, they did have that. Somebody wanted to build a truck and they had that chassis listed, but what they said was South Russell's already looking at that, so it's kind of already spoken for roughly. We don't have a PO in hand, but we're extending a courtesy on that, but not for.
It seems like it's warranted to
Yeah.
consider this and act sooner rather than later.
And it's Thursday morning.
Okay.
Any other questions of the street commission?
I just have something, I was reminded that, about a week ago, somebody called from one of the utility companies, and Leslie can't recall if it was Enbridge or Windstream, that they were asking to discuss renting, using property to park their vehicles and materials for their project.
Yes,
So she forwarded that to you, so is that what these flags are for?
yes. So that, I'm glad you brought that, I was gonna bring that up. So last week, they called and they asked for a lay down yard, meaning where can they put their stuff for a short time while they do their work? And my natural question was, what are you doing? And it was the gas company, and they're like, well, it's worth the gas company. And, okay, but what are you doing? Well, we're doing gas line work.
So
That
then
was
we
the
did know-
information, that was the information they gave.
That was what.
Eric, we discussed it at Streets, I think it was the next day, was Streets meeting that we talked, or later that day, it was right there. And they're gonna use the power lines, the north side that everybody stages across from our dump driveway. There's a gravel area there that everybody stages in when they do road programs and work.
The impression I got during our meeting was that you called and they said, sorry, it was a mistake. We didn't mean to call or something like that.
No, that wasn't me, that was,
That was Eric.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they didn't discuss or get into, it was the contractor asking, not even Enbridge.
Can we say we'll provide you with a laydown area pending a scope of work and a plan set of what you're gonna do? Like, not just, sure, here's where you can stage your materials, but
Yeah,
we have a place, you give us something and we'll let you use it.
we call that guy back and just find out what's going on. Got a phone number, don't we? They're just, I'm assuming, you know what happens, but they're upgrading the lineage.
Well, I guess, are they trenching? Are they digging? I think.
We need,
Upgraded the line on Bell Road East and it caused an enormous issue for some residents downstream of that.
Yeah.
I just wanna know what they're doing so we can maybe
Yeah, call
identify
them.
some potential like concerns of the village before
Okay.
they start the work.
What's your strategy? You're contacting Enbridge,
I've already reached out.
Tim will come.
That's fine.
you give them a shot.
Yeah.
So we got Eric at it, you're at it, we can get this done.
Somebody tell us what's going on.
Anything else for the street commission? Hearing none, the street committee.
well, the nice thing about being the chair of streets committee is by the time you're up, the engineer and the street commissioner are taking half your report. It's awesome. So, at our meeting, related to the trucks, we did emphasize the desire for going back to a full wet road policy again in the winter. We've tried something new the last few years, and resident feedback I know I've received has not been
It's negative.
lovely. So we tried something, try to get back to that wet road. Aprons on Bell Road East that will have the opportunity of their culvert pipes replaced having replaced this summer prior to next year's paving project. Letters have gone out. Tim has only received 3, at least as of our meeting last week. We've asked Tim and the chief to possibly text my gov, everybody on that thing. Have you guys had a chance to hook up on that yet?
I haven't heard anything on the narrative, so you gotta provide us with some sort of.
Tim, can you provide that to the chief?
Yeah.
Can we get that out tomorrow?
Yes.
That'd be awesome. Just give people time, so also give your crew time to schedule those out. Since the paving crew will be here in the next month and a half.
Sure.
So they can fix it up. As mentioned, you mentioned, there's room in the budget for the road diet. The streets committee was officially said yes at our last meeting. I could speak ahead of time that the pedestrian committee also said yes. So if we could, does that go through you, Eric, to move forward, getting striping, or does that go to Tim?
That's just getting a quote from the village.
Okay.
So I don't think you need any engineering specs
Okay.
related to that.
Tim, could you reach out and get some quotes for doing a striping to the specs that the engineer provides to narrow the lanes and also make the berms a little wider on the edges?
A foot on either side.
Give or take, yeah.
Tim has just spoken with Specialized, I believe Specialized for crack sealing.
Yes.
Taking care of that soon. And lastly, we talked about staffing. We had a nice conversation with Tim a couple Fridays ago. Some of you may know the department was closed on a Friday. Tim did the right thing. He had a bunch of guys who wanted the days off. We talked about in the future how to manage that a little differently, but he did the right thing. He called his supervisor, gave him permission to shut down the department. The committee expressed their desire not to shut down a department within the village during regular working hours because the residents rely on that department to be open and it's in the best interest of the village. So I guess, Mr. Mayor, if you could refrain from allowing a department to close like that, it would be appreciated. And that is all the Streets Committee has, pending any remarks from my Councilwoman Rensel or Councilman Berger.
Nope. Any questions of the street committee? With the building committee?
Buildings, before I start, on all of these reports, not having 2 meetings or at least a few extra meetings in the summer, I just think this is overwhelming because there's so much going on, and if anyone agrees with me, I'll be happy. Okay, we met on 8/12, and I did submit my minutes, and I'm just gonna go down a list, and if anybody wants to ask me anything, go right ahead. Discussed chronic neglected properties where Dave Hosevar has reached out and does not get an answer. on one of them. I know that he was going to contact not the prosecutor, that's not Bridie, and see if we could go ahead with that. It's a mess. The salt building, the finished salt building, Tim already addressed that. I hope everything's about where it should be. Dave Hosevar feels that it is. And it looks nice, but as far as nuts and bolts, I hope that it's all functional. People are asking about that little farm fencing, the crisscross. It looks like it supports nothing, but they're saying it does.
Yeah, they added that through, the engineers added that. I don't know. I believe it's a racking wings maybe. It's an engineering thing.
Mayor, you asked about the solar checklist. Dave has confusion on that because he has the yay or nay as far as solar things. So this probably involves Bridie. We are, as a committee, we're great with rooftop solar, what do you call it? Solar power.
Panels.
Panels. The yard stuff that looks like a tree, not great with that.
Right.
So I don't know if we have to do legislation that says this is what South Russell would like.
Can we just see the list? I don't remember I don't know that I have the full checklist.
Okay, yeah, it hasn't been done. So what the mayor is going for is that somebody walks into Colleen and says, I want solar panels, and they're handed a list that just condenses time and work, et cetera, and is as brief as possible. That's all that is. Okay, so you want all
If we can, just so that I remember talking about it briefly at planning for a little bit, but we don't know that I have the actual
I will get you one.
Yeah, but at
Mayor
least-
provided like 4 different communities checklists. The one that I thought was best was the Akron one because it actually looked like a checklist, number one, but it didn't have a lot of extraneous material in it. Okay. So that might be the one we want to forward to the solicitor for review.
All right, and I believe Colleen said, the solar, right now it goes through a structural, I believe I'm learning building, okay? But if you do this whole solar checklist, then it's gonna be another module in GovWell.
And it has to be with, so when they get the zoning set up.
Correct.
The zoning module,
Because I think if it's installed in the ground, it's considered a structure, so there's.
It is, and that's where Dave takes precedence,
Correct,
yeah.
yep.
Okay, so that was discussed. Sign, well, corner lots, that'll come under properties, but the sign, when we get one, we're discussing, do we put, and this would be kind of a variety weigh in, a one-off, more like an information board that's digital. Old-fashioned Ruth likes the painted kind, but when you consider that we have streets guys that were putting slats in and spending significant, like Fall Fest, and they fill in the date, and these slats have these things on it, they gotta paint them, etc. It would be a lot easier, especially with weather, if you had a hideously modern digital board out there, yeah, which we don't really have the permission to do because we don't have digital stuff.
I think we prohibit those, but we'd have to look into that.
Yeah.
Mark, help me here. Didn't we have this issue with
The gas station.
the gas station?
Very much so.
Yeah.
The uplighting, the downlighting, and the sign and everything else.
Planning Commission had much to say about.
Significant input
Yeah.
into what is there now, and now there's effort to change what's there now, as I understand it.
So I think that there's some kind of a balance there. If we're not selling anything and it's informational as opposed to a company, does that go? I don't know. It's
We can definitely talk about it for
I
sure.
agree with you. I'm not a fan. I mean, this is gonna sound snooty. I don't want to be Bainbridge.
I just want, when I see comments on the block club type things that we don't give out information and don't let people know, which of course we do, they just don't look at the website. That's an easy way to do it. And we all know I'm not modern. It's worth discussion. So Dave has to get back to me on what he thinks he can do as an inspector, et cetera. And then that's separate, of course, from other things. Let's see, office changes, GovWell, well, Danielle covered all of that. Colleen is happy. We're very happy with Colleen. And I want this little honeymoon to continue as long as possible. She's cranking work out, which is what's important. Not taking anything away from Ruth Griswold. This is just ongoing with different things. And that's that. Office changes. Tim, we still need a railing to go in the downstairs from the outside. What can I anticipate with that?
We'll have to source one, build one or buy one.
Let's buy one.
It's fine.
I have a really cheap Home Depot one on my back steps, but it works. It's hideous. It's supposed to look like wood, but it's metal, and it's colder than hell in the wintertime, but it works.
Can we borrow it?
You can take it. It keeps me upright.
Get you a better one.
I'd take it. Let's see. Hold on, I skipped over something. Repairs. I think that might be it for buildings. I do have one more thing. This post-septic repair mess out here. Are we gonna take a rake to that, flatten it out, plant some grass, etc.
Yes.
soon?
Short answer is yes. However, if we allow it to sit a little bit and settle in, the end product will be better.
Okay, so
It's gotten some rains on it now, so as we grade bocce and the grade around the bocce, prep it for seed, we'll come up here, grade this, prep it for seed, go around the salt dome, grade and prep it for seed as well.
So we might be looking at like a week?
6 months.
It'll be longer than
6
a week.
months to settle?
It's, I mean, we have a pretty full schedule so far for the next.
Well, it looks
week or
terrible. It
two.
looks terrible. I'll tell you.
I don't disagree, but
I had this in the old yard at 50 Popwell Lake, and just to make a little bit of levity, I was in my bikini on a 4th of July because Gus had dug all the way from the house to the road. I know, it was a different Ruth. Go ahead and laugh. Anyway, it was shortly after I got it done, and you can laugh out loud, believe me, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I'm laughing at myself.
We're just laughing with you.
So, I think, I don't know, do I need to put on a bikini and get out here? It just looks terrible. God awful.
we'll grade that as timely as we can in our uniform.
I'll go do it.
Give me some encouragement, for God's sake. All right, well, I hope, seriously, it just looks terrible.
What about the baton twirling?
I can do that on the side. I can take a break and
Right.
Hey, Ruth.
Fire?
Real, a serious question if you're done with the bikini,
I'm
Chad.
done with that.
Wait, I just want up the baton from the fire.
I can do it.
For the building department, I do wonder, we should really consider start an action plan for succession planning over there. I don't know how much longer Dave's gonna,
Action plan for what?
succession planning.
Oh,
I mean, Dave's been retired for what, 10 years, 12 years? And I mean, I'm just trying to work with reality here. He's not gonna be doing this for 10 more years, 15 years, right?
Yeah.
We need to start thinking about how is that building department gonna have someone in like his role?
we do.
D'Agostino.
He's not a spring chicken either.
So what are you saying as far as looking for, where are you going with this?
Whatever our plan is, are we gonna have to close it up and send it to the county, or how are we gonna find some? Because right now, there's a
That would be-
shortage.
Yeah.
So the reality is we can't rely on, I mean, long-term, we can't rely on two aged people, unfortunately. It's the reality of, we're not gonna have an inspector here. So if we start working on a succession plan now, we'll be prepared if that day comes, or when that day comes.
So I would need some guidance, I guess, from him on how we even go about that, because there's very few
Yeah,
inspectors in the state of Ohio that have what he does as far as certifications.
I'm in no way saying, let's get rid of Dave, kick him out of here. What I'm saying, we need to be
I begged
prepared
him.
to have that plan set.
And if I
Very
may,
nervous.
you're absolutely correct. Some years ago, when there was talk of closing our building department, we've made contact with Shard. And they they told us to hang on to our building department as long as possible.
It's possible because they didn't have the time to deal with us.
And we have had so much building and remodeling in the village that I can't imagine what it would be like if we did not have a building department here.
Yeah,
So we'll put it on the next building committee meeting agenda.
we sure can.
Okay, any other questions of the building committee?
I just have one more quick comment. I would like to thank the chief for all your work and expertise in
Yes.
helping us with the lower level. And the building department itself, and of course, our village hall, all those who helped out.
It looks surprisingly
That's great.
much nicer than I anticipated.
Very nice.
Chief did a fantastic job.
And August 31st for the next building department meeting at 8 AM, is that?
Thank you, Mark. Yes, that is correct.
When is it?
August 31st, which is over today, at 8 AM. And Danielle, while you're writing those down, properties will follow, same date, 8/31 at 9 AM.
Okay, anything else for the building committee? Chief, after all these accolades, much deserved accolades, floor is yours.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a couple things. This morning, we had a special council meeting to conduct some interviews in the police department for full-time and a part-time officer. We'll be working to complete the background and pre-employment testing and moving on that maybe next month. The Gov Deals auctions were completed a couple weeks ago, and there is some legislation later in the meeting in order to dispose of the unsold items. And last but not least, the body worn camera grant was received last week. That's all I have.
All right, questions of the chief?
The chief, vandalism of public property, is that a misdemeanor or a felony?
Misdemeanor, I believe.
Misdemeanor, thank you.
Sure.
Chief, I wondered if you could make a few comments. I've received a number of residential inquiries on the subject of flock cameras.
Oh, thanks.
So there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
What can you tell us?
So, yeah, there is some misinformation about Flock sharing data. Flock doesn't share the data. The data belongs to us. We pay for the service. The data is ours. And the South Russell Police Department doesn't share that data, that information. When a lot of this started surfacing, I went ahead and made some changes ourselves. What we did was, in the beginning, instead of the 30-day retention period on the Flock camera system, we went with a 2-week retention period. So we're at a 14-day retention period. And now, based on Flock's willingness to, try to upgrade the system a little bit, they put some safeguards in place as far as, abuse. There's always, possibility for an officer to take advantage of a system, but they're putting some safeguards in place. And they're also talking about now reducing that retention period to 7 days now. So, again, a lot of misinformation about the data, where the data goes, but all we can do right now is do the best we can to protect the information. What we do also is not only that 14-day period, we have the ability to share with other law enforcement agencies. What we did was we actually removed the sharing from all other police agencies, so we don't share with any other local, state, or federal agencies. We just have our own network here. We're kind of isolated. We do have access to other networks too, which helps us a lot. So what we've done is we've kind of tried to tighten our parameters up a little bit. So we're not currently sharing with anyone except for the Geauga County Sheriff, who dispatches for us, so that when we get an alert, they're aware of it also. So we're trying to do some things to, try to put some public trust back in our system. It's a wonderful investigative tool, and that's what we primarily use it for. One of the greatest, situations that we had was an elderly person with dementia had driven away from South Russell and missing for a day. And we actually tracked him down in New York because of the Flock system. And we got the family to go out there and pick him up and bring him home. This is the system we also use to investigate hit skip accidents, crimes, against property. We have a lot of accidents in town that result in, for example, Amazon drivers backing into a house or hitting a car on the street. And, we use the flock camera systems to actually track those vehicles down. So we've solved a lot of crimes. We've solved a lot of mysteries, and it's been a great tool for us. As far as abuse goes internally, it's going to be a rare occasion. You're going to have a very small percentage of law enforcement, minuscule amount that would be, using the system to benefit themselves. But for us, it's simply an investigative tool.
But I was surprised when I read about all the negativity surrounding this, because it's great as
Yeah.
far as.
It's helped us tremendously. So some of the things, and they just made these changes on August 13th. So every time law enforcement does a search of a vehicle now, it has to be documented you have to relate it to an actual case number. You can't just do a random search and have no excuse or no reason behind it. So now there's a protocol in place where you have to actually punch in the actual report number or the case number that you're working on. So, and on top of that, now we have auditing abilities, so we can audit our own officers to find out what they're actually running. And if they're running things that are not associated with the case, then they could be, penalized here internally. We can certainly have, charges, as far as a policy violation or disciplinary action. And it's not quite to leads like the Ohio Law Enforcement Database. It's not quite there because there are specific laws that regulate leads. So if you violate leads, you can be prosecuted. Now, Flock isn't really a state database. It's just a database of license plate numbers and pictures. So it's not really a law enforcement database.
So I got a couple questions. If we're not sharing our data, how do you track a bad guy?
So that's the unfair thing. We are not sharing our data with other agencies, but they are sharing with us. So we still have the ability to access their data.
Okay.
So we have revoked our ability to share with other agencies. So we're trying to tighten the parameters for us, trying to show a good faith effort that, we're trying to contain things, but these other agencies, and there are thousands. I mean, we have access to cameras all over the country, which is great for us, and that's how we solve these crimes.
So if you have to search a vehicle, do you have to have a case number open to search it, or you have one open afterward?
So if you're currently working on something immediately, the case number is generated based on a call. So if we get a call of, let's say, there's a stolen vehicle and we need to run that vehicle in the system. Well, the dispatcher has opened up a case for you. So we have a case that is currently ongoing. So it's pretty much instantaneous.
So Chief, to clarify, it takes photographs, not video.
Correct.
Okay, there's been some misinformation out there that's taking video and watching people live.
Yeah, so there's also some information out there that it's taking pictures of people's faces and who's driving your car. They're not designed for that. They're designed to pick up the rear of the vehicle and the license plate. So it takes a picture of the back of the vehicle and the license plate.
So before this meeting, I was speaking with the reps from the Street Valley Fire Department, and they mentioned that they had an arson recently in the village down there, and the flock cameras helped them apprehend one of the arsonists, not our flock, but a flock somewhere in the Northeast Ohio area. A ring camera caught a part of a license plate, they ran it.
And those are some of the success stories. And, back, years ago, you remember that the entire valley was inundated with stolen vehicles. We were getting stolen vehicles, on a regular basis. Chagrin Falls got hit pretty hard. We got hit. After we put those cameras up, the bad guys know what they are. They tend not to, come to the same area where you have protection, basically. So we've got a little protection, and it's a great tool for us. We would hate to lose it, but I think that we have so many good success stories from it in solving these crimes and solving these, hit skip accidents and things like that, and even preventing crime from happening, preventing these, vehicles from getting stolen license plates. We get alerted when a stolen vehicle comes into town. So it's just a great tool for us to have. And I would hate to lose it.
I don't want to lose it.
We're trying our best to try to tighten the parameters and make sure that we're being responsible so that the public has confidence in us that, we're not abusing the system. We are using it for what it was designed for, and it's to investigate these types of crimes and anything we can use it for to save a life. And that's what's happened. That's what happened with the missing person with dementia. We basically were able to find them and bring them home.
So that's what you're going to tell your naysayers when they ask you.
Absolutely.
Same thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the 2 weeks where we have the data is less than 30 days that Flock started with. And I remember that discussion.
Yeah.
Because there was concerns about privacy. And in 14 days we came up with, I thought served us well and still does.
It does. And to be honest, when they do reduce it to 7 days, you're usually responding to a call for service within 24 hours. So 7 days, it's still a reasonable amount of time. They do have an option on there that if you're working on a case right now and you're currently in investigative mode, they can put that particular data into a holding pattern, so they can keep that a little longer while you're working on a case, and it won't flush out while you're in the middle of the case.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the police chief? Chief, you said on August the 13th, there were changes made.
Yeah.
Is that in writing someplace?
Yeah, I've got an article here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's August 13th. It was these new parameters were put in place.
If you could give me a copy, I have someone that's probably watching.
Sure.
That's been calling about Flock. Thank you. Safety Committee.
Thank you, Mayor, and Chief, thank you for that comprehensive report of yours. Really appreciate it. Yes, this morning we did have interviews, 2 interviews for a police officer, and I believe I could speak to the members of council who were present, that we were highly impressed with both of them, and we're looking forward to seeing them in the very near future on our force.
Thank you.
Our next meeting will be in September, a date to be determined. That's all I have.
Questions of the Safety Committee? Hearing none. HR Committee.
HR met on this morning, 8:16 or 8:17. So we met this morning. We will meet again in September at a date to be determined. We discussed the council retreat. Again, we suggested potentially November 7th or November 14th. And we're working to confirm dates with our speaker. And then we will get to council to get that lined up. We discussed the event for celebrating our village employees that will occur in October at Tavern 6. Date still, we're working on that. We spent quite a bit of time this morning talking about the morale of our employees in the village, what the current state is, and what things we need to do better as a village to encourage our employees. And so we talked a long time about communication and how we can address some of these issues, and our recommendations will be forthcoming. That concludes the report of HR.
Questions of the HR Committee? Hearing none. Properties Committee. Ruth, this is yours.
Properties, again, a lot going on, and a lot of properties overlaps with buildings, so we pretty much covered bocce. Tim addressed that. Neglected properties, let me cross these off because I gotta come back to some of them. The corner lots, we did a lot of discussion on the corner lot business, and Mary came up with something that I should have, well, we all should have thought of. The plantings down at the park to the basic perennials, bushes, black-eyed Susans, grasses, they look great. They look wonderful. Why don't we just reproduce that up here? And in addition to that, what the chief has on the south side of his drone building looks equally good. I would like everybody to drive by at some point this week. It's got the pebble stuff and hydrangeas, and I don't know what those other bushes are.
Ferns, and we've got
Varied stuff.
arborvitaes.
Yeah. So I'd like everybody to seriously kind of chew on that, and as long as we get it back from where the salt spray is gonna get it, which is quite a range, but you don't wanna be too close to the road anyway, because you kind of, when Ruth creeps up on Bell Road, you wanna look at 306 and be able to see what's going on. So seriously, I'd like to get this done. Chris Berger called me and said, let's get this done. We've been talking and jawing over it. I would like to go forward with that plan. Let's just reproduce what success we already have. If anybody has an objection to that, please tell me. And we could also always stick some annuals in if we need extra color. And please, not black-eyed Susans, for God's sake, one worst flower ever. That's that. And I'm glad to have, thank you for keeping that moving, Chris.
Happy to help.
Let's see. I guess with properties, the mayor has suggested, it's a good suggestion, a scout plaque. So this would be Eagle Scouts, and Mary informs me that all scouts is just Scout, is it Scouting USA? Yeah, the ladies and the men. Just to acknowledge their hard work, and if they complete their Eagle Project or Gold Award, we add them to that and encourage them to come back and look at some maintenance of it, which, you know, you can't enforce that, but it would be great. I read over, Mayor, the groundwater USGS survey letter that we got, and that is a 5-year for $59,000. It came up when, in maybe April, we discussed this and went forward with it. And I'm for it. My only question is, it refers to the 6 sites without naming them personally. Can we have a map of that so I know what's being done? That would be great. Rarick, we've talked about poor Rarick. And I'm gonna cover the beech trees when we get to parks. And we'll talk about the toddler park, maybe toddler park when we get to parks as well. Any other questions? And we did meet, we met on August 10th, and we will meet again on August 31st. Questions to the properties chair?
Ruth, you guys talked about Tree City USA, is that right? Was that your
We talked
committee?
about Tree City, and the committee was not going home on
Okay,
this.
so we have not gone forward with that?
We have not
Okay.
gone forward. And I said, Chris Bell's gonna be for this. You're a tree guy.
Well, I like trees, I don't know the particulars.
I feel like we do a great enough job with trees as is.
Costs a lot of money to join that, doesn't
It's $8,000 a year.
it? Spend that on trees.
Yeah, well, for example, behind the police department, it's now kind of empty with its mound. We're gonna prettify that, I'm sure, but it's not ready right yet, and it's still a work in progress. But soon, because it needs it, it's hideous as is. We listened to the man, I forget his name, is it Mr. Greenlee? We put trees in. Right, yeah, just south of here. We listened to Manor and we are good with going forward with trees. Mayor.
I think when you look at Tree City, we have to budget. We don't have to, there's no fee. We have to spend $8,000 a year on trees.
So the $8,000 is for ourselves?
You could see, like, over the weekend, tree came down, police were involved. Guys were called into work, trees removed.
Is this the
There's an
Circle
expense.
Drive thing?
It's not gonna take much at all to spend $8,000.
Okay, so I'll forward you the stuff I looked it up from Tracy. There is, you have to pass, you have to apply annually, you have to pass legislation, you have to have a board, you have to state what your rules are regarding trees. And you have to commit, and then there's an annual report and everything. So the village can commit to
Sure.
trees. This is more to,
Or we could just plant trees.
this is more just to
Sounds like another committee
brag
meeting.
that you're a tree city. It's an annual thing and there's more to it than just spending $8,000 on trees.
I'd love to read it, just to get an idea. I don't want to poo-poo it without reading it.
Okay.
I seem to be picking on your committee, Steve. I'm so sorry. You can pick on me later. I got one more. We talked about the corner lot. Mr. Berger sent an email to all of us about the corner lot being utilized for the farmer's market parking, despite council saying do not park there. How are we gonna move forward with the project?
So the only thing I can think of, and we did discuss this at one of the meetings, you pull into the parking lot and you immediately have another lane that you could park in. That is one solution. And to get rid of some of the grass against the current driveway. That's a solution. We're waiting for the salt building to come down. I feel like there's a lot of questions involved in this. Do we keep the farmer's market here? That's the big looming one. The farmer's market is where you park most of the cars. So
It seems like they've outgrown us.
do you think so? So do we have this discussion then with Tiffany Mushrush or,
Well, the guy sitting in the parking's right here.
sorry?
The guy who sets up the parking's right here. Ask him. What's your plan for parking moving forward? We didn't get the plan last July like we were supposed to, or this past meeting in July.
How do I politely say this? I help out the farmer's market, and that's the best thing we could do is park where we've been doing now. We've been doing this for a couple of years.
I get that, but council specifically said they cannot park there, and you're a representative of the village, and you set it up so they have to park there. You're putting them in a bad spot.
And so the complicating factor is it looks sloppy and you get tire marks and it's grass.
It's tore up our grass already.
It's grass as opposed to pavement.
So why have you been doing that, Mr. Mayor?
Because that's the only place we had to park them.
We didn't have asphalt parking lot? We had a parking plan given to us at the beginning of the year.
Yes, but they needed more parking.
No. What was the plan they submitted to us?
Now,
I don't remember.
the plan came from street commissioner. There was a written plan because we anticipated that we were gonna have a problem when the salt barn was being constructed. We knew that was gonna happen. We knew that we were gonna have an issue. We drew up a plan. We said we weren't gonna park on the grass. We're talking about spending, I don't know, $25,000 or $50,000 on beautifying that corner lot, which makes absolutely no sense if we're gonna use it as a parking lot. Okay, so, I fully endorse all the plantings. I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
I don't have any clue how you're gonna do that and not tear it all up on every Saturday morning when we park cars there. Okay, and that, this has been an ongoing issue and I don't want to address it.
I guess, I'm sorry, it's joint properties, but it's on our property. We talked about in council meetings. Mr. Mayor, you've been in all these meetings. I don't know why you continue to ignore what council has directed.
I guess, it was a simple solution. There was no place else to put these cars.
We have a
So
parking
you
lot.
either have them park on the street or you park them on an empty lot.
No, Mr. Mayor, we have a parking lot. That was the plan that we went through and talked about in council. You were here for that meeting. You had the things in front of us. You just ignored it. You continue to ignore council on everything. You are your own man and you ignore us. I know it's the soup du jour at the federal level. I'm kind of hoping it stops being at the local level. How hard is it to follow the directions that we give? We give easy directions.
So do we have a parking plan now?
We do.
I should be able to answer that to myself, but I'm sorry, I can't. And so do we park on the sort of driveway that goes out to 306?
They were to remain in the parking lot.
But that's paved space and we block that off. So there could be parking there. Am I correct?
Could be, yes, there could be.
So
We also talked about, that we would end up having to park cars down behind the police station.
Which just is not a good plan.
Well,
Yeah, we figured, they can put overflow there as long as it didn't block us from getting in and out of the
It
station.
was the best option we had, knowing that we were gonna have a problem. We knew this 18 months ago. And and despite our best efforts to anticipate it, we just walked around it and said, nope, we'll park on the grass. Okay, so don't spend any money to develop a piece of property that you're gonna use as a parking lot.
Chris, I'd like to point out that we did not say, screw it, we'll do it in
No.
park in the grass.
No, I understand.
person did.
Yep, I understand what you're saying.
You're gonna need a physical barrier of some kind. If that lot, the corner lot is developed as a welcome place for the village to keep the cars from parking there because the farmer's market is getting more traffic and more customers now than it did 5 years ago. And it's a question of managing the parking that's available.
Or have we outgrown the farmer's market?
Or have they outgrown us?
Have they outgrown
They've
us?
outgrown us.
And I don't know the answer to that because I
agree.
do not attend.
Well, that's a question for us to answer. Should they apply next year for the same permission to have our land used?
I'd like to meet with someone from the board, not the representative. Mr. Mayor seems to act as the representative there, and I feel like our communications don't get to them. So they might be blindsided by our frustration.
So I could set something up.
That would be great.
Love to get together.
Invite one of the farmers market board members to come to a properties meeting
Okay,
regarding parking.
and that might be.
And then hand them the parking plan we have and get their thoughts on whether they can comply with it.
Okay, and in the meantime, can we put a kibosh on parking on the grass? And that will solve that problem immediately.
Imagine we have to put up some caution tape or something like that to keep people.
Cones?
I don't know if cones are gonna do it. I'm not sure caution tape's gonna do it either.
Yeah, if they're not directed to go out there, they'll stay on the pavement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
so,
did in the beginning of this season.
what's
In the
that?
beginning of the season, they stayed on the pavement.
Yeah, I just don't know what the traffic is like kind of Saturday.
Do you want to try to temporarily stripe the parking lot?
Like you'd spray paint it?
I think that would be a question of the best way to go about a temporary striping to Chris, just because that's kind of your thing.
For paving.
Like something that's cost effective that we could just do until we pave and permanently mark the pavement. Is there temporary kind of stuff we can
Some
do?
stakes and yellow caution tape is sufficient on the grass.
That might work.
I was just thinking, so that way we can say there's X many, spots.
We're just talking about the corner lot, right?
Well, but
Caution taping it off.
in the larger picture, if they're looking for more spots and somebody pulls in half sideways and parks next to them where 3 cars could be too hard. So if we kind of come up with designated spots as well and caution tape that off, where's the gray area at that point?
It's not cheap to stripe. Couldn't we years ago, we used to just put stakes in the yellow tape
Yeah.
around the thing.
Well, we also had the building there. But there was a small parking lot with the art center and the dental office, and they caution taped it off.
That,
People
and
did
then over
not
here.
park there.
By Village Hall, we would do this part too,
Maybe do the caution tape, see how it works this weekend. They've got, what, a month and a half left, Mayor? Maybe 2?
October 12th.
Yeah, so a little less than 2
Ish.
months.
It's just too bad that such a good thing is being ruined. Because simple act of defiance. An inability to answer,
Looks like council has to step in again. Okay.
as usual.
Okay, I will call Tiffany Mushrush and I'll see, just off the top of everybody's heads, if we had an early evening meeting, could I get attendance at that for Okay, all right. I'm presuming she works. All right. Let's see, I think that's about everything that I have for
Bruce, our next property meeting is on the 31st at 9 AM.
9 AM.
Do you want to bring up the track?
Tim has put this forward. We just briefly, to explain, our streets guys, particularly in the good weather, when the pavilion is rented out, one of the streets guys, and they do round robin usually, has to go down and collect the trash on Saturday and collect the trash on Sunday if both days are rented out. It basically imprisons our guys to working not 6 full days a week, but being available that 6th day of a week. So Tim has an idea that if we were to build a small enclosed area, well enclosed, that could be locked with 6.
So the thought would be behind the existing or the new restroom in the tree area, a very enclosed, friendly looking, blending in kind of area. Contract, I did reach out to Dumpster Bandit as one of the providers and asked them what would it cost for 6 cans? And they said $180 per quarter to have these cans serviced. So instead of paying our guys
1.5 hours.
hour and a quarter per time they come in, and sometimes that's twice on a Saturday and twice on a Sunday, we just say, hey, the pavilion rental's X, and if you dispose, you get X back.
Does Dumpster Bandit pick it up, or do your guys like on
So
Monday come pick it up?
all we would have to do is roll the cans out to the parking lot and they would pick it up, which we could do.
Weekly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want it sitting there.
So we would
And the
need
chief
somebody.
had, we had talked with, well, we had talked with the chief about some sort of timeable lock.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, to be able to control access. And then this way they put their trash in there. We don't come in for it. We then don't have to pay our guys or comp our guys an hour and a quarter per time they come in. And for $180 versus potentially an hour and a quarter of overtime pay.
Did I read a concrete pad? Was the
Yes.
ideal label?
Yeah.
Would you guys do that, or
Yes.
would that be, okay?
So, and I mean, ideally what I would like to do is pair that pad, pouring that pad and the bocce pad at the same time, so it would save us money on a small load on the concrete.
And what it comes down to, and I get this because I used to work weekends, they're having, all of them go places. They camp just like what I do. They camp just like we all do. We go places on summer weekends, and it's become a hardship for all of them. They each have to give up a weekend just to do this. So it is a solution. In the wintertime, park is not really used. And if it was, that wouldn't be a.
And those cans, an example, during the winter time, those cans, we can bring those up here, and like currently right now, our dumpster is over full from projects around the village, and we can use those cans to mitigate some of that as well.
So this enclosure would have to like truly blend in.
It would be, so if we put it behind, the thought was to put it behind the bathroom, one, it would shelter behind the bathrooms more. And being that it's so tight up against that brush line, when you're pulling from Alderwood, there's already kind of an existing brush line, so you don't see really behind it to begin with. From the pavilion and the rest of the park, it's sheltered from view because of the bathroom being in the way.
What Mark's probably meaning is after we dumped all that money on the bathroom, we'd want something that actually looks pretty good attached to it.
Yeah.
And matches.
Do a board-on-board wooden fence that's, covers the blue cans or whatever color cans, green, whatever they happen to be.
It doesn't become a, trash panda feast place.
This is why, yeah, right. Because weekly it would be dumped. They're enclosed containers, like we put out for our household trash, the same wheeled containers.
Okay.
Those big wheeled containers.
I mean, maybe address at the next properties meeting?
Yeah, and we'll come to a decision.
Or parks, maybe.
Yeah, either one.
Maybe both.
Thank you.
And we have to talk about the refunds. Cause then that's, we'd have to talk about the refunds, cause then that's,
From the rentals?
yeah, so if they're making the deposit, then we have to refund them, that's a
It's
lot
more
more work on our end.
It is more work, yeah. So maybe you'd want to give that to streets. Or, so Colleen does that, she does those, right?
The refunds, well, I have to cut the checks, you know what I mean, so it's more work for, I just don't know if refunds is the way to do it, and if there's a way we can write the rules up somehow that they won't be rented the pavilion again or something, if, you know.
Or just maybe we have to charge a little bit more, I don't know.
Or no refunds. That's the easiest
Because
solution.
we're paying to send the trash.
And if they don't clean it up, then they don't get to rent it again. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm just saying, because we rent the pavilion a lot, and if I'm having to cut checks for all those refunds,
I understand.
that's a lot.
Okay, so it needs tweaking. You may want to come up real briefly with what you think would work on your end, and we'll give that thought here.
Yeah, I'll see what other communities.
Thank you. All right, I'm done with properties, I think, for now. I feel like I've forgotten something, but it's gonna get covered in parks. Done.
I think there's two motions, right?
Oh, that would be important. Okay. Motion to approve construction progress payment application number 5 for the salt storage facility design build project to CMG Contracting LLC in the amount of $210,104. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Here's, I was gonna cover this in parks, but it doesn't matter. Schwartz Surveying is going to come and survey Rarick because there seems to be question in some people's minds what we actually own for Rarick Cemetery. If you're looking bird's eye view from Bell Road, so go heavenward and look down. There's the initial cemetery that you're looking at. There was a 10-foot swath added along the whole back of what was the cemetery. And that's where the trees have fallen down. Where does that end? We need, again, you got into permission to get on people's land to get rid of all this stuff, to chip it, etc. I personally didn't feel we needed it surveyed, but it won't hurt us in the long run. So I called Rudy Schwartz of Schwartz Land Surveying Company, and he called me back immediately and agreed to come. And so this is where we have this motion that I'm going to make. Do I have any questions about anything I just said there?
I just have one question. A couple months ago, we amended the budget for $5,000. Was that including this, or is this on top of that? So
5,000 was for the fence repair.
So this will be an addition.
This would be on top of that because 5 doesn't even cover fence repair.
Okay.
And aren't they doing ground penetrating radar to verify the graves are where we think they
I
are?
don't think he
I think
included
it's-
that.
This is just so Schwartz will establish the true property corners, so we know to make sure the fences
Everything's
are
overgrown.
on our lines, are ours, and if they're not where they should be, we can, when we put new fence in, we put it in correctly in location on village property.
Is there any need to do the ground penetrating to figure out where the,
It would be very helpful because doubtful that those were put in, in any real order, like say Evergreen Cemetery in Chagrin.
So talking with the ground penetrating company, who is coincidentally located in South Russell for the last 25 years. They've done Chagrin cemeteries, Bainbridge cemeteries, Newberry cemeteries, Russell. They've done all
The old
around-
ones.
all the cemeteries around, everywhere.
what do they charge for the service?
He said it's depending on how in depth we want to get. So we didn't get too into that because it was just a preliminary. Do you do this? What, so.
So we start with the survey and
Yeah.
then go from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you gotta think, and they didn't do anything in the winter, they used to have the covered little, houses, block houses. They were digging in ground, hand digging shovel guys, and they couldn't be accurate. You just knew where old Mrs. So-and-so was buried and moved on from there.
Well, the headstone would have helped, but when the headstone falls, there
Lost
isn't there
more than half
anymore.
of them. Yeah, okay. Second motion.
Did we already vote on them?
We didn't, no, I just went to explain it. Motion to approve Schwartz Land Surveying Inc. to survey Rarick Cemetery in the amount of $3,700. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Anything else, Ruth, for properties?
Not properties, but
Questions of the Properties Committee? Hearing none, parks.
parks. Again, too much has gone on. I need extra meetings. We got notified by a young resident who lived on Daisy Lane, but has now moved on to Oxford University and is pursuing an ecology PhD. And she told us the beech trees are dying, in which they are. And they're being destroyed by a nematode, the beech leaf nematode, that this nematode goes to the leaves, it eats them and penetrates the tree and rots the tree, and it splits off dead in the middle. So if you walk into the park and take the first path past the pavilion, heading south, and take your first right toward is that the wetlands, Mayor?
Yeah,
The created,
Yes.
created wetlands.
Northwoods, yeah.
Northwoods, okay. You go past that, behind Muggleton House, and there is you can tell there's an entrance into the woods that if you kept going, you'd hit the backyards of these Daisy Lane homes. I was surprised because I'd never walked back there before. And it was stark that there is a problem here. So right off the bat, this young lady whose name was Ella, she showed us what was, and here's trees that have blocked this Eagle Scout path that was done about 10 years ago. And she said, look up, there's no more canopy over this, where there was canopy before. So it was stark. This was a learning experience for me. And after that, she gave us the name of a forester from, he's not just from Geauga County, he has a 24 county, no, that doesn't sound right, 24 something region, 24 of them in the state, sorry, I'm skipping thoughts here. There's 24 foresters in the state, and he is Ashtabula Lake and Geauga. Very informative guy. Walked back there with us, and he basically gave us 3 solutions, none of which are great. And where did I put them? Just by memory, you can treat the leaves. You see these black, the nematodes follow the veins on the leaves and they turn them black. So you can see this, you can do a spray. He says it's not very effective, and by the time you see these, you're probably gonna lose the tree anyway. Very expensive. Number 2 was if there's any beech tree seedlings, protect them immediately. You can fence, you could fence around per tree, you could fence around per area, or their base predator is baby deer. You could do things with the deer, like a controlled hunt, like my grandfathers would be happy to do. I know, look at your face, Chris Bell. I come from a hillbilly hunting family, and proud of it, very safe. But that is a solution, because the offset is they're gnawing all trees, all the baby trees, oaks, all of them, down to nothing, down to the dirt. So these are solutions, and we need to I know what I will vote for and what I want, but we need to think about them, and I probably need to do a sheet on this. It's time consuming, and I'm going to encourage everyone to walk back there that hasn't done so. Tim came down with, well, I probably shouldn't say that. We found ways to get some of the park members back there who were not as mobile. And so this was good. So all of the park committee got to see who were there that night, what's going on. And this park is such a treasure. I wish I could just bring Gene Muggleton down for 1 hour to let him see how much we enjoy this park. So this is going on. one of the members said, it's survival of the fittest and some species live. You've lost your chestnuts, you've got your ash borers and things like this happen, and all the fixes are expensive. There we are. Fencing it's a great solution.
How does it keep the nematodes away?
You don't.
Fencing, you don't.
You don't.
What's the
They're already
difference?
done. They are split. If you're able to go back there, Mark, these trees they're destroyed.
So
It looks like a pencil that some mad kid did this to. It's not a clean break, it's rotten in the middle.
so this is to keep the baby deer away.
So fencing would keep the baby deer away so we can grow more. And so there's just so much here, so much information. The forester recommended oak trees. And Mary, you paid close attention. Swamp oak and white oak.
Swamp white oak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were
Do well in that
some
area.
of them, yes. So it would be just two, and this would take, of course, years or decades to fill in that empty canopy now. And I did reach out to the forester, is Jason Van Houten. I reached back out to him, tell me about the deer culling, and it took till, I think, Saturday night, they finally got back to me with part of that, and I was away from home, I was not able to absorb it. So there'll be more on this, but I'd be happy to walk back there right to it if anybody wants to go while the weather's good. And we need to do some things. So that's part of parks. We have, there's too much going on. We have Mr. Berger's, very nice. He has a benefactor who would like to donate money. This came up before, to a possible toddler addition to the already existing playground. We had a meeting about this today with our people that were so kind in starting the initial playground and a night trip, just to let them know that this might be something we're interested in, and is it possible to get this done in a harmonious way to blend with the current playground? I think it is, still to be determined. Very expensive for what was a 50 by 50 addition was $100,000. This doesn't have to be a 50 by 50 addition, but the swings you put a 2-year-old on are different than the swings that a 7-year-old butt is going to sit on and be safe. Do we put a handicap swing? A great idea. Do we do more than swings? Do we do a little playhouse? Everything you add goes up exponentially. All this stuff has to be inspected, and we are inspected and passed. So we need to act on it. Chris has identified people, and they even suggested, and it didn't go over very well, selling bricks. If an idiot like me wants to buy a brick, there's people out there that want to buy bricks, and it's how much we sell them for. And that's just, it's a solution. So, Mary, you've done more. You probably have some comments you want to add to that, because you've talked to people.
Yeah, right. Some of the neighbors with young kids were, excited to hear that there could be changes, there could be more swings for the young ones, and they suggested music, or texture, or, things for kids with special needs, and they're just excited. Little house, it would be nice to have additional things.
Yeah. One of the things we came up with is if we attach it, say, closer to the pavilion, but still just adjoining what's there for the playground, put a picnic table between the big kid part and the little kid part. Some mom could watch both sides, and her kids could be safe and entertained at the same time. All to be determined, but I think it's a great idea. Okay. Of course, everything for the Fall Festival is ongoing and looks like it's in great shape. And we're going to have a park meeting very soon, and we'll, nail everything down. Another Fall Fest under my belt soon. Any questions?
Cross country.
Oh, cross-country, yes. We got the dates this week. Danielle sent them out, that the cross-country people, as soon as they go back to school, they get these done. Motion to approve the Chagrin Falls Middle School cross-country team 2 meets in the South Russell Village Park on Tuesday, September 1st, 2026, and Tuesday, September 8th, 2026, from 3 to 6 p.m. and to waive the required pavilion rental fee. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Questions of the Parks Committee? Public Utilities Committee.
Yes, the Public Utilities Committee met August 13th. Discussed a number of issues which are reflected in the minutes that will be forthcoming. Of note, the Sugar Bush dredging project is nearing at least substantial completion in that the digging went down about 7 to 9 feet, hit bedrock, and the spoils were put where Sugar Bush people wanted it put. So what remains is seeding, as I recall, that will happen in the next few weeks, and maybe some reseeding coming in the spring to ensure that it's returned to the state that it was before we began. So that project appears to be nearing completion. The Utility Committee is pleased to report. Secondly, the Walters Road reimbursement request to the trustees of Russell Township. Danielle, have you heard anything more from their fiscal officer?
I reached out to fiscal officer, well, their deputy fiscal officer, haven't heard anything, and then I reached back out to Chris, and I haven't heard from him, so I'll reach out to them again tomorrow and ask what exactly it is that they want me to certify, what are they looking for, so.
Briefly, the $31,000 request the trustees approved, and there's some kind of certification that they would like from our fiscal officer before they send the check. But they had approved this course of action at their last trustees meeting in July, and therefore we will be seeing the check sooner or later as a reimbursement of half the net cost to the village, which I think is a remarkable thing. We're pleased that the trustees were accommodating. The Hazelwood project, the engineer already touched on it. I don't think we need to go into further detail. The Chief, I think I owe you a paragraph about the project so we can notify the residents. I will do that. One of the residents, or a couple of the residents came to the PUC meeting and brought up the First Energy power outage that occurred a week or two ago. And I thought we had a council person or somebody from the village who was like a liaison rep with First Energy. Does anybody remember that?
From our side?
Yes. Remember that, Bill? Didn't we have somebody?
I don't recall.
Okay. Well, perhaps we want to consider that because evidently Lake Louise and various other parts of the village are getting not the attention that we would desire that our residents get from First Energy when there is a power outage.
And they're out for a couple of days.
Yeah. And the idea here is, well, how does First Energy decide what areas to address? What's their criteria? And how do they do that?
Complaints of surges too. Power
Yes,
surges.
quite a few. And power lines that are hanging close to the ground, one of which started a fire when it failed. Yeah, behind one of the residents' houses. And unfortunately, her mother, who has, I don't know, some kind of medical condition, was not in the home at the time, which was good. But the point is, why aren't we getting more response from First Energy? I do know they have a rep to us.
Yeah.
Do we still have his contact info?
His name was David Conley.
No, we got a
No,
new one.
changed again.
Could you send that to me, Daniel? I'd like to at least call them and see what kind of response we can get for this.
This lady, I've reached out twice with no response, including during that Lake Louise incident.
Perhaps we'll inundate them with calls and then see what they do.
We'll set up a schedule.
Okay. The other thing that we were talking about was the USGS contract that Ruth earlier is $12,000 a year. It's a monitoring program, and that's all it is. It doesn't address quality at all. And I think the committee will consider this for a vote at its next meeting. And as such, I don't know which way it's going to head, but 12 grand a year is a lot.
And doesn't seem that the circumstances may warrant it. But be that as it may, Mayor, we'll be weighing in on that next time around. For Streets Committee, have you guys set a next meeting?
Streets? Oh, yeah.
I missed
We're the
that.
first Thursday of the month, moving forward.
So you're talking about
September 3rd, we're at 5:30.
Okay, I'll propose that the Public Utilities meet September 3rd at 6:30, depending on availability, the engineer, streets commissioner, and the members. Yes?
So I have plans.
What a great way to celebrate.
But that's also the early beginning of Labor Day weekend, so you might wanna.
Well, how about the 10th, September 10th?
I'm good, 10th.
Okay. Tim?
I can't be there 10.
No? Okay. Chris?
I'm good.
Okay. And Tim Young?
Yes.
Okay. We'll keep you posted, Mary. That's okay.
Thank you.
All right. So September 10th, coming up. We don't need to do 6:30. Would people prefer 5:30?
Doesn't matter to me.
Tim, 5:30, Chris?
5:30 is fine.
Okay, so we'll do 5:30, Danielle, on September 10th.
Streets before.
Well, it's the week after,
Oh, we get, okay.
so we'll do that. If that's okay with everyone, and if you could sunshine that, Danielle, that'd be helpful, and we'll continue that way. Other than that, I have nothing further to add unless the other members of the committee would like to weigh in.
We have a couple motions for utilities committee.
We do. I will do that now. I'd like to make a motion to approve payment to CMG for the Sugarbush Pond dredging in the amount of $28,000. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Ohio Public Works Commission disbursement request number 1 in the amount of $4,885.32 to Verdantis. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Questions of the Public Utilities Committee?
Under properties, there was a motion to approve Hazelwood Storm.
That was removed from
That was
the
removed? Okay,
second one.
sorry. Yep. So-
Public Utilities Committee, now that Maple Hill is almost complete or is complete, the people living down the next hill, Silver Springs, would like to have a meeting with Public Utilities about the stormwater that comes down from Maple Hill to Silver Springs and what can be done there.
They passed on to Papa.
Yeah, and then it goes down to Pawpaw. So if we could plan something for, say, September,
About September 10th.
I don't know. I'll
5:30.
mention it to the person
We'll
who asked.
entertain whatever their concern is and see what we can do, if anything, about it.
Okay. All right, Safe Bicycle and Pedestrian Transport Committee, you're up.
Okay, we had our first committee meeting since we chose to not move forward with the levy. The committee, as you recall, had asked not to move forward with the levy, to have an opportunity to maybe look for alternative funding. We will be meeting with the Foundation for Geauga Parks on August 26th at 5:45 PM here at Village Hall. We've met with them before just to kind of reconnect and discuss potential funding opportunities for this maybe this pathway, but also other things within the village for safety, maybe within the park as well. Our regularly scheduled meeting is September the 4th at 7:30 AM. That's a Friday, and that's here at Village Hall. Your minutes were submitted in your packet. Pending any other remarks from Councilwoman Rensel?
Nope.
Nothing?
Yeah.
I am otherwise busy on the 4th.
4th?
That's the fair.
Is that Labor Day weekend?
It's the beginning of it, yeah.
Okay. Are you at the 11th?
I'm fine. Yes.
You're at the 11th?
The
Okay.
4th I can do.
Do the 4th? Why don't I tell you, Ruth, I'll survey the resident members too.
Okay.
Actually, we'll see them on the 26th. We can maybe discuss it then. Will you be able to 26th at 5:45 PM?
Yeah, somehow I got that date wrong. I thought it was this Friday.
No, I sent you an email today
letting you know that Friday was, we scratched that. It was kind of
Okay, so it's
tentative.
gonna be the 26th at 5:45. Yes,
Yeah.
that's fine. Okay.
That's all we have.
Questions of the Safe Bike and Pedestrian Transport Committee? Hearing none, Administration Technology Committee.
Admin and Technology met this morning. We asked Frank Antonucci from ADP from the county to attend so that we could have a discussion with him regarding communication between the village and some of the technical issues that we have in moving people on and off their system. I think from my perspective, it was a fruitful discussion. He was open to the issues and fully recognized that there were disappointments on the county's part and that they would try to address. So overall, it was helpful. And so we look to move forward. We, as the fiscal officer has noted, we received an update on the consolidation of the administration to Village Hall. We had a long discussion again about communication and how we would communicate with the residents and who would be involved in that in terms of our staffing. And we're working on a plan for that so that we can tell the rest of the village how we will communicate and who will make that happen. Additionally, in a moment, we have legislation to address the indemnification and hold harmless clauses in contracts, which the solicitor has provided to us. And so we will make that at the appropriate time. And subject to any other comments, that concludes the report.
Questions of the Administration Technology Committee? Hearing none, we are now at ordinances and resolutions. Councilman Canton, you get the first one.
Thank you, Mayor. Second reading of an ordinance, amending section 478.03B of the codified ordinances of the Village of South Russell to remove Bell Road as one of the roads upon which golf carts are prohibited in the village and declaring an emergency.
Second reading.
Second reading.
Councilman Berger.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance enacting new section 230.09 of the Village of South Russell's codified ordinances, invalidating certain provisions in goods, services, and construction contracts with the Village of South Russell, declaring an emergency. First reading.
Ruth, the next one's yours.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance approving the facility rental application for permit non-auditorium for the use of Gurney School parking lot for the 2026 Fall Festival to be submitted to the City Falls Board of Education, authorizing the mayor to execute the application and declaring an emergency. Move to waive readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Renzel. Here. Asleep.
It's so we can park at the Fall Fest, Mary.
Yes, whatever you say.
Awaken, yeah, yes.
I have to start all over.
Aye.
Kavanaugh. Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
To adopt.
Move to adopt.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Renzel,
Yes.
Bell.
Yeah.
Aye.
Berger,
Aye.
Canton,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance is adopted. Streets. Chris.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into an agreement with Specialized Construction, Inc. to perform the 2026 Village Road Program in the amount of $274,000, $274,766.10 and declaring an emergency. Move to waive further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Renzel,
Aye.
Bell,
Aye.
Berger,
Aye.
Canton,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Renzel,
Aye.
Bell,
Aye.
Berger,
Aye.
Canton,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. What's the last one?
I'll take it. Introduce and consider for adoption a resolution authorizing the discard or salvage of personal property not needed by the village and declaring an emergency. Move to waive readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Renzel.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Renzel.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Aye.
I just had a quick question. So that one, that Chris introduced for the goods and services, that's the one to do with identification. You didn't want to waive on that? You want to go through 3 readings?
I
Just
don't have a
making,
problem waiving. I didn't
Okay, just making
realize
sure.
that we
that's fine. I
put
just
it into
asking,
effect right now.
because it's late. I just making sure.
Yeah.
Do
We're
it next
good.
meeting.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll waive and we'll put it together at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, payment register.
Motion to ratify the payment register of July 30th, 2026 in the amount of $36,287.97. So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Mine is different.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
3.
I'm sorry, I got the preview.
Okay.
Let me amend my motion to include the August 13th, 2026 payment register in the amount of $125,413.90 and the August 17th, 2026 payment register in the amount of $238,104. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. New other.
Renzel.
None.
Bell.
None.
Berger.
None.
Canton.
Yes, at this time, I would like to congratulate high school science teacher and South Russell resident, Mrs. Lisa Salyers, who was just named Chagrin Local Schools Teacher of the Year for 1926.
Nice.
2026, excuse me.
She's won that before, has she not?
She has. I don't know if it's teacher of the year, but she has won accolades. She has
That's
been-
all.
Kavanaugh. Porter.
Just one thing, I noticed the POW/MIA flag was getting a bit torn up. The Navy flag had come off one of its moorings. And then the next day it was fixed, so I commend the street commissioner for taking care of that without further ado. Thank you. That's all, Danielle.
Thanks, Tim.
That's everybody.
Motion to adjourn at 9:41.
So moved.
Moved by Porter, second by Kavanaugh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned at 9:41.